Hello everybody. Wow, the game music's quite loud there. Welcome to another part. If you guys can let me know if the audio balance straight away is any good, and I mean that not to live people, but like even in the YouTube comments, please let me know, because I'm doing a different setup now, basically in prep for the big Final Fantasy playthrough that's about to happen. And I'm essentially, there's a new feature in OBS, well I say new, a couple of years old at this point, basically upward compression filter, which I put on both my mic and the game audio, which will effectively reduce the dynamic range massively on both, and I should be able to trust the volume levels. But I need to initially set them up well. Now my classic is minus 12 dB, so if this sounds good right now, then that's good. And it actually has the other advantage of leveling out a lot of the Guild Wars sound effects, so like the footsteps, the effect volume slider when you set it really low, because the combat noise, you remember there was a moment a couple of episodes ago where the combat noise was really loud. It was effectively fixed that. So like in game, look at this in game. I have my master slider maxed. I have my effect slider maxed. Now normally what this will do, well not maxed, but nearly maxed. Normally what this will do is it will destroy your ears the second I start casting skills or doing things. It's funny, this map's actually killing tech. We'll talk about tech in a second here. This is weird because I already did this off screen. Did I get it after reset? I think I did. I literally already have my rod. So anyway, as we start fighting here, normally this would blow your ears off, but it should be a consistent level. It won't have really changed. It should sound fine. And this has a nice advantage. It means that a lot of the quieter, like more immersive sound effects, like footsteps and stuff, can still come through in the video. And this is a big topic for FF. FF has like this problem, but way worse. So I've been looking into that majorly because I want it to be immersive and fun and cool. It's going to be really nice, like low stakes. It's going to be like new adventure in a new world. It's going to be really nice. So I wanted stuff, you know, the sound of doors opening and the sounds of birds in the background and the rain on the roofs and thunder in the distance. And so I wanted that all to sound good. So anyway, some of the stuff that I've learned I can do there, basically instead of listening to the game audio directly, I'm listening to it via OBS through the OBS monitoring, which allows me to listen to a compressed feed, and you can do fancy stuff. Anyway, so yeah. The game audio might be slightly too loud, but it sounds good. Okay, perfect. So I'll take us to minus 14, and I'll probably reflect on this in the VOD. So yeah, welcome guys, part 12. And we're in a weird place where in the last part we finished the story. I did not enjoy the end of the story at all. We're gonna have a lot of conversation about that. I loved Janthir Wilds, like 99% of it. So don't get too hung up on the fact that I didn't like the final instance. Please don't be too offended by that. I kind of got some stuff to talk about there, I guess. But we've done the story now. We'll reflect on it a little bit, but there are, of course, the side quests. So I have been told over and over again by you guys that so there are achievements, obviously. So like I didn't vote the other way yet. I didn't give the wildflower. And here I missed one animal. But generally speaking, we're done. We not only did we beat it, we got 100% almost. But down in the Janthir Wilds section, there's these side stories. We've done a bunch of them already. There's Build-A-Quagon, chasing these wisps. This is both Build-A-Quagon. There's this one about the code and the Star-Crossed Lovers, and then there's this one, getting the crew back together, which requires me to beat an adventure before we can start. And there's a few adventures. So we're going to round out the adventures, and we're going to do these side quests over today's episode and the next episode, and there might even be a third. If we're plotting all this out, it depends how the Q&A sections and stuff go. Also, today, we are going to do the Lonely Tower. That's the newest Fractal. It's a Fractal that came out a few months ago. It tells the moment where Eparch was banished, and I think possibly the death of Varsanakim. It's a very short little Fractal, which I'm sure will have brought it some criticism. It's a very low quality Fractal, but as far as like, is it fit for purpose? I say it is, and I actually think it's okay. So we're going to do that now. So I need a 5-man party for that. So if you guys want to join and play that Fractal with me, I'm on NA. What region am I on? I don't even know. Throw me a party invite, and if you can get in, then I'm on that region, and we'll talk about it. So I'm going to do the Q&A section while people join for the Fractal. We'll do the Fractal. The Fractal's very quick. It's got a cool little moment and a little bit of dialogue. I think it's well worth doing, especially considering Isgarin factors into it. Isgarin's going to be a bit of a focal point of discussion here. We were talking a lot about Isgarin in the Spud Discord just now. I think there's some awful takes. Truly, I mean, I don't mean to offend the people delivering the takes or upset anyone, but I think seriously bad, like, story comprehension and just... So we'll get through it. Isgaren's going to be a big topic. And yeah, I think that's pretty much all the plans I have. Let me have a look here. Oh yeah, and we'll also do the beacon jumping puzzle. In fact, I kind of want to try that now. So, we're going to be on the wiki as well on this one. So, lots of plans, lots to do. Oh, I guess I'll wait and kill Tech here. This is the last burn phase coming up. Okay, so, oh, and I could finish this up as well. So, with Secrets of the Obscure, remember I told you guys in the previous part about Honorary of the Astral Ward. I also told you guys about the Lahir story. I got a lot of comments from you guys saying, oh, WP, there's one about Lahir, and there's loads of dwarves. I did mention that quite a few times in that part, I think. Anyway... this one has a lot of events and stuff. Now, someone had the idea that what I can do is do a Q&A section where we stand waiting for the next event to proc. And that kind of works. It might end up a bit clunky. I don't know. Also, ultimately, that's Secrets of the Obscure stuff. I did hear from one of you guys, though, that even though the wiki doesn't document it, this Forgotten one, where you're in ore collecting lore fragments, apparently does have a lot of, like, lore in it. And information in the form of Isgaren dialogue. So that's kind of fascinating to me. I couldn't find it on the wiki. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I needed to dig into the specific page. But it certainly makes me really want to do this as well. So we might return to Honorary of the Astral Ward for a couple of other bits here and there. But if you remember in the last part, I did show you guys the Sidony thing in Honorary of the Astral Ward. Here we go, we got a party join. Is this person in my region that's sitting in lines up? So we're not going to know until we're in the same map. But so this Sidony one, remember I said you got to kill the 3 world bosses? That looks like I got my daily reward, doesn't it? You got to kill the Shatterer, you got to kill the Chlorajaw Mag, you got to kill Tequatl. I did all 3 of them. We just killed Tequatl again there, I guess, which is a complete accident. So I've done them, so we can do this last thing in the Bloodstone Cave now. As I mentioned in the previous part, there's not really much dialogue with this. I literally think Sidony's just going to say to us, good job, well done. Like, the point of this quest is to establish very firmly that Sidony... Here we go, we can run through here. Sidony is the one that originated the ancient alliance against the dragons. And there's another quest which explains that Sidony also had them bail out. So the Seers had this idea, got everyone together, and then fucked off, just ran away. Leaving the Forgotten and the Massart to die. The Forgotten had a huge grudge, the Massart had a huge grudge over that for forevermore. Here we go, so let's press F, and hopefully this all sounds good. You have rid this, oh, it's not even voice acted, look at that. You have rid this world of a great evil, I can now find rest. As a parting gift, I've activated that weapon you've been carrying. May it aid you in battles to come. There you go. It's not even voice acted. But yeah, so we get a torch, by the way. Whether there's significance in the actual weapon skins, I don't know. It's cool, though. I mean, obviously, this was the thing we were building throughout the quest. But there you go. That's another part of Honorary of the Astral Ward. The Lahir one's quite interesting. It's got, like, these scales that are balanced. And there's the 2 colours and the 2 anvils. Don't know. So anyway, yeah, this showed that Sidony originated that alliance against the Elder Dragons. Later, in Secrets of the Obscure as well, not Janthir Wilds, all in the same expansion, we also find that Sidony bailed out on it. The question is why, and Mabon's like reflecting on it. I think the answer's obvious, that Sidony had realised Void would destroy the world, so we kind of have to live with the dragons. And Isgaren, who was a party to all of this, Isgaren uses that phrase in Secrets of the Obscure, and this is a quote. He says, the dragons are a headache, but the extra pocket, the dimensions, they're an infection. They will really fuck up Tyria. So they're my priority. The dragons are a real problem. They're killing loads of people and wiping civilizations out. But on the other hand, they're regulating the magic. It's a headache. I can't solve that problem, but we have to focus on this as well. So that's Isgaren's whole thing. He's helping the world, but he sees... So that's the idea. And basically, the thought is that Sidony might have originated this alliance and then gone to the ancient races and said, look, we can't do this now. And some of them will have said, well, fuck you. It's not your life. You know, maybe Zaitan's been killing a bunch of Massart or something that want revenge. I don't know. But there's also kind of a quite clear note that it wasn't just the Seers that bailed out. The Dwarves bailed out. The Jotun bailed out. And in fact, I'll give you guys a screenshot from the... wiki of the information we got in Ember Bay back in Season 3 in a minute. Okay, so, with all that said, the person who was in my party has now left my party. It would really help if I knew I was an EU or NA. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to idle in the Fractal lobby this time. Oh, or shall we do the jumping puzzle first? Let's do this first, because all the Q&A bit's going to spur more conversation with the live chat. And maybe we can talk about that stuff as we're doing the jumping puzzle. But I can't easily talk about that while playing a Fractal. So, by the way, you don't have to be good at the game. You don't have to have much agony resist. I'm happy to do this on scale 25. I just want to get the story out for you all. Literally anyone is invited, and you don't have to be embarrassed about your performance or whatever. The lowest scale is piece of piss easy. Anyone can come. Just join my party, and we'll see what's going on there. I just got a mail. Is that someone saying... Oh, this is just more Spud invite stuff. Guys, by the way, I'm pretty sure that the 6th guild slot is bugged, because I've had so many people saying, can I get an invite? And then they don't. The one thing people need to do is specify E or NA, and like maybe 40% of people don't do that. The player or channel cannot be found. That's a weird error. Try that again. There we go. There's someone. The question is, can you get into my instance? Please at least try to join, because I don't know whether I'm EU or NA. Anyway, yeah, say what region you're on, but also, like, a lot of people send invites, and I think they're wanting to use Spud as their 6th, and it doesn't work. So then I have to say, oh, it didn't work. And then, you know, I'm getting loads of mails, then like a week later they'll respond, but they won't specify their region again, and it's just this horrible back and forth. But I think it's bugged. Anyway, okay, so, yes, Lonely Tower, I'd love to play that with you guys. Let's jump in with some Q&A stuff. And, you know, I'll call it these Q&A. They're not entirely Q&A. A lot of it's just, you know, good info. Feedback, back and forth, and whatnot. Oh, do you know what? I didn't delete my screenshots from last time, so I don't know where we start. Well, we'll go in reverse order, and when we see something we recognize, we'll just we'll do it that way. There you go. I've got 2 people in my party, but they are both not in this instance. So both of you are in the wrong region. So therefore, I can't play with you guys, I think. It would be really nice if both of you specified whether you're EU or NA here as well. Let me see here. Let me see. I'm on NA. I'm on North America, apparently. But, oh, you have 2 EU guys already. So, do you know what? I'm just going to swap. You guys stay still. I will just swap. Oh, they left already. Jesus Christ. Okay, hold on. Sorry, guys, about this. I should have known that EU people would be the majority that are actually able to join and do things. So let's see here. So let's swap. So we'll just have a black screen while I'm logging back in. We're going to do it on Europe, guys. And I say EU, not just because the population's a bit bigger and they seem less intimidated by, like, endgame stuff, but the time of day, most importantly. Okay, so here we go. Kairos says, about Sidony. When I saw that monologue of them rallying other races to fight against the Elder Dragons, I thought to myself, why would they withdraw later? Just to betray the Massart? One possible and I don't think it's that at all. I think it's quite clear it's the Void thing. Mabon even has that moment where he says, oh, if we'd gone through with it, we'd probably all be dead, right? And I think he's alluding to the Void when he said that. One possible explanation could be that Sidony learned killing Elder Dragons is bad, that it will mess up the magic and bring the Void. That's why they ordered the Seers to withdraw and don't fight against Zaitan. Massart, of course, would understand that as a betrayal. Sidony might have realized that killing dragons will bring Void, and Void means end to all life. If they don't fight Elder Dragons, then sure, all the Elder races will probably die, but life itself will continue. Other civilizations will rise in their place, and in the meanwhile, they can hide magic in the Bloodstone. You can see the Seers taking the long view straight away, right? Which might be preferable to Void, just consuming everything. And if Sidony shared that information with his Garen, that would explain his reluctance to join the fight against the Elder Dragons in modern times. This is, of course, all headcanon of mine without any real evidence. No, I think it's pretty clear. I think that is the story. Maybe I'm being a little bit too definitive about that, but I think that seems to be the case for me as well. So next, sorry, I'm alt-tabbed here trying to log in and seeing if the transfer's actually gone through so that we don't sit here staring at a black screen the entire time. And indeed, we are no longer staring at a black screen because I can turn the game back on. There we go. All right, brilliant. We're back in and we can do this. So yeah, Lonely Tower, guys, just join my party and we'll be away. So next we have Skittles saying, to me, The courting Vass comment from the Mabon side quest just meant he really wanted Vass to join the wizard's court. Nothing romantic involved. Yeah, Wiki says that Vass and Isgarin... We had so many invites there, guys. Keep going. Vass and Isgarin were, like, close, is what Wiki says. But I don't really know where that's... I can't remember what document or piece of information showed that they were really close. I like the idea that they were lovers. I like the idea that all of Isgarin's people have been wiped out and he's, you know... Maybe there was a deeper connection with at least one of them. But, yeah, it could literally just be courting. There might even be a little bit of a wordplay there, because obviously the wizard's court. I don't know. But there you go. So there we go. We got our party. Thank you, guys. That was really awesome. Excellent. And now we can come on in as well. And everyone has 600 mastery points, so I'm assuming a scale 100 is fine. I might not even have the AR on list right now. I think I do. What's my ARR? I thought it listed it up on the top right, to be honest. I have 163. I'm fine. Okay, next. Right, we're over here. Okay, it's a big one. This is from Tanner. Speaking of people incorrectly stating things as facts, Isgarin is not currently in the form of a djinn. I don't think he's hiding his true form at all, unless it turns out he's not even a seer. During the Secretly Obscure period, I'd heard a couple of different people say in-game that Isgarin is a djinn, not just disguised as one. Whether they misread Shirai's journal explaining that Isgarin's djinn form was only a temporary deception, or more likely they noticed similarities between seers and djinn, I know not. Also, it could just be people being sarcastic and disappointed that the model didn't feel different enough, or, you know, the skeleton or whatever. Which leads me to, the reason Isgarin and Sidony look like djinn is because, well, they're reskinned djinn. They're not disguised. I'm not trying to put anyone down, but that's really nothing more to it that isn't debunked in Secrets of the Obscure's launch material. Honestly, I'm more than a little surprised the idea is still being circulated, and I thought if anyone would put their foot down and say, no, Isgarin is explicitly a seer in every source in Secrets of the Obscure, goddammit, even when he pretends to be a djinn, it would be WP. They look like seers to me, but I didn't play Guild Wars 1, so if there's something about their appearance that can't be gleaned from the screenshots on the wiki, or if I missed something major in Secret of the Obscure, please do let me know. And I responded saying it's funny because I was on that tack in Secret of the Obscure, but the comments here convinced me otherwise this go around. How I'll put it in the next episode. So yeah, this is a weird thing, right, where if you rewatch my Secret of the Obscure Let's Play, we talked about this, and it was, oh, he looks like a djinn, but he's clearly a seer. And then there's that little thing about Shirai, which was new to me here. But this year, this is that thing where, like, a year's passed and, like, details slip through the cracks. At some point in this Janthir Wilds playthrough, someone mentioned it was either in one of these Q&A sections or it was in the live thing, and I took it at face value. So I got completely reversed. So yeah, there you go. But the story goes on slightly. Kabansky said the biggest difference would be having legs, I guess. And Narek said, well, WP, hold on. Look, there is a book that says the only thing Isgarin changed on himself is his colour to blue. Dagda's diary, look at it on Wiki. So there is, like, this complication that he is changing something about himself. He's changed himself to blue. And I guess it's easy to conflate that with the whole djinn thing. He hopes to be mistaken for a djinn. He turned his colour blue to be mistaken for a djinn. The only difference between Sidony and Guild Wars 1 Seer is that the Guild Wars 1 Seer model has legs, but Guild Wars 2 models don't in everything else, so they look identical. Yeah, I mean, there's a point here as well to be made, which is that, look, Isgarin could have looked just like Sidony. Sidony looks a lot like a Guild Wars 1 Seer. They could have made Isgarin look like that, but he's tweaked himself ever so slightly, so that in passing, he might be djinnish. Is that what we're saying? So the original commenter comes back and says, good catch, but both Adira and Mabon say they're tweaking their appearances not to intimidate newcomers, not to deceive them. Mabon isn't hiding the fact he's a Messiah. No, not to us, but to the Mesmer Collective he was. And Isgarin isn't hiding the fact he's a seer. But Isgarin did hide from the world. You know, when he was at Garen Hoff, he was barely around, right? He went to the Mystic Forge for a period, and Zomoros never quite caught him there. There is obviously a degree of manipulation and hiding and distance. Isgarin changing his skin colour from a bluish grey to blue isn't the same thing as definitively being a djinn, and I agree with that. It implies the opposite. I don't know if it implies the opposite. We already know he's capable of disguising himself as a djinn to Chirai, but he doesn't wear the cloth wrappings around his face when he's with us, nor does he wear djinn armour. But the thing is, the context in which we meet Isgarin is he's gone mad. and like all the information's laid bare, right? Because he's got Ceres in his head. So like, what's the point to us? The question is, if we wandered around Divinity's Reach with him, he would probably do the Churai thing again, right? He would probably hide himself. As for not having legs, I don't know. It could be a redesign, the same as Oak Hearts, Gargoyles, Titans, or it could be a more technical reason that Jinn are the closest approximation of a Seer's anatomy, but their models don't have bones present for legs. So the modelers and animators simply extended the Jinn robes. Yeah, so there you go. Look, it's messy, but I think the main takeaway is that he's not supposed to be hiding himself as a Jinn. He's tweaked his appearance, he's a bit Jinn-ish, and the devs have written that in to account for the fact that clearly the model's quite Jinny. I think that's all there is really to be said about it. This isn't deep lore or anything super amazing either, really, but it's a topic, so there you go. All right, and I guarantee next year we'll be back to it. Okay, Vale says, I think that lore is at its best when it's like pieces of a puzzle in which we have no reference for the size, shape, or picture the puzzle is creating. See, I don't know, I'm getting frustrated by it, though. I really felt a lot of frustration towards the end of this Let's Play, where I really want more tangibles. On the other hand, today, when I was reading the Ember Bay Massart tablets, which I'll put on screen in a second, I kind of was feeling like it was fun again. So, I don't know, it's weird. Like, I want both. I want a nice, easy-to-understand main storyline with characters I enjoy that are acting consistently, and we'll come back to that in a second. You know, decent cutscenes, and I don't think Guild Wars is really doing that. A bit of spectacle. I need a straight up... I want the movie thing that they were talking about, the blockbuster feel that they said with Heart of Thorns. But around the edges of it, we can do this stuff. But if it feels like the main story really kind of falls apart without the crazy puzzling, I get a bit frustrated. And I think that's kind of what's happened with me with Janthir Wilds to an extent. Like, the proportions are off for me. And obviously this comes down to everyone's individual tastes and stuff, right? I have to assume that people less into the lore and less into the game have a lower tolerance than I do, though, which wouldn't be a good sign. But anyway, in this way it can resemble real-world history, in which we don't always have complete information, but can piece together narratives in much the same way. The advantage, of course, is that unlike the real world, in-game there is the guiding hand of the author to hopefully ensure that we're eventually given enough pieces to put together a picture that could satisfy us while leaving the room to imagine a world far more interesting and complex than any amount of writing could ever hope to achieve. Yeah. The biggest difficulty then is simply that there is never going to be a perfect balance between complete information and intriguing mystery, because people want different things. No matter where things land, inevitably there will be some people who are left disillusioned because they've learned too much, and others that are left frustrated because they learned too little. All the writers can do is their best attempt to strike a balance. I think you're a little bit forgiving there, though, in that last paragraph. Yeah, you can't get a perfect balance, but you can, like you said, you can do your best, right? And you can get as much tangible in there. So, I don't know. Anyway, yeah, I'm totally with you, and I think that this is the kind of storytelling that Guild Wars is doing at this point. Right, here we have Zhu Zhang, who says a selection of things about dialogue in the final instance. I don't like the idea that the Wizard's Tower... So this is a conversation about the final instance, which, again, I'll reiterate, I do not like. Now, listen, guys, So there's this frustrating thing, right, where if I'm doing a live series and I play something that I don't like, I'm going to give you my immediate response, but my natural inclination is to not... Like, I don't want to have knee-jerk reactions, but I kind of have to have them if we're doing a live blind thing. There's going to be a knee-jerk reaction. So if I dislike it, people want me to love it, right? There's always this pressure that I have to like it. And the story apologists, and people will get very, very miffed and upset if I start criticizing it. There's always, every year, and I've been doing this for over a decade now, a constant pressure to be insincere and hide when I'm disliking it, because people really get angry and upset, you know. And I'm on Guild Wars' side, but not everything's going to land. I would ask a little bit of forgiveness and leeway towards me and allow me to dislike stuff sometimes. But anyway, I'm doing it live. I don't necessarily think my initial take is the right one. They're knee-jerk reactions. So I really felt bad about the end of the last episode, because I didn't like it. So I thought, well, look, you're not live now. You can look. Go read the wiki, see what you think. And I've really seriously sat down in these past 2 days and tried to find a way in which I like the ending. And I don't. I really don't. I didn't want to stick with my knee-jerk reaction. I don't think it's that great, and I'll explain myself in a minute. But here's someone else talking about the final instance. So, a selection of things. About dialogue in the final instance. I don't like the idea that the Wizard's Tower has always liked Waiting Sorry the best. Yeah, that was a quote, and I didn't like that bit either. He says, I know it's a pretty minor thing, but this still feels like that sense of everyone treating Isgarin like he's some kind of horrible person. The tarot cards named him the Wizard of the Tower, and everything in Secrets of the Obscure suggests that Isgarin is the Tower's master. Isgarin himself, while in the Tower, said that this place is a reflection of himself. So it just feels wrong to have Sorrow say, oh yeah, the Tower doesn't even like you that much. And by the way, speaking of tarot cards, the Sorrow's Lost achievement linked Isgarin with Tower more than once. Isgarin's card, as well as dialogue in Secrets of the Obscure Chapter 9, mentioned him falling from a high tower, and we'll read that in a second. But that doesn't happen in Secrets of the Obscure, so maybe they're setting up for his demise. I really don't like the idea of Isgarin dying so soon. I think that the final instance is really clumsily written, and that is what they're doing. I think that in Secrets of the Obscure, Isgarin was a fairly nuanced character with his ups and downs. He's arrogant and he's egotistical and he's made mistakes, but he's not like an overt villain. And there are certain other elements of his characterization that aren't there in Secrets of the Obscure, and I really liked him in Secrets of the Obscure. It feels to me, though, that ArenaNet are kind of setting him up as the monster of the tower or whatever, and they'll probably leave a bit of nuance in it. But that last instance felt very fucking lopsided and out of nowhere. And I think that they are setting up for his demise. I think that was probably teased with the whole thing with the falling from the tower stuff. And I think yeah, get ready. I think they've recharacterized him in an ugly way in Janthir Wilds, in an inconsistent way. That is what they're doing, and we just have to like it or lump it. So about the timeline, Waiting Sorry's departure from the court can be determined to be after 716 AE, since an archivist of the Astral Ward was able to interview her in that year. So that means she's been away for 600 years-ish, 500, 600 years. At best. So, a long time. The currently known timeline of the Wizard's Court was documented on the wiki, but there is much left unknown. About Isgarin's characterization, I do feel that Isgarin's character was twisted in Janthir Wilds. In Secrets of the Obscure, he was reserved, cautious, and the tarot card achievement suggested he felt insecure about the world moving on, while his world had remained stagnant. He's slow, steady. There was depth to his character, and I appreciated that. But in Janthir Wilds, it's almost completely reversed. He's quick at suggesting to use the scepter, not that that's wrong necessarily, and he was described as immature and egotistic. By the way, the ego, I think, is there in Secret of the Obscure. The ego is the eparch thing. He thinks, oh, don't worry, I'll be able to sort you out, and then all the centaurs die. That's his fault. That's his arrogance. And there's always a bit of ego in arrogance, right? I don't like the direction that the writers are taking him in either, and I hope they don't kill him off soon. I agree with you largely with all of this, by the way. It's really nice to see someone who feels like they're on their my wavelength here. About Isgarin's Jinn disguise, I think he's not really disguising as a Jinn. Well, we already talked about that. And this guy, by the way, Grakon, had an interesting idea. He says on the tower bit, the tower liking Sorry best out of the whole court, while being a reflection of Isgarin, might be the writer's roundabout way of highlighting how, in some way, Isgarin cared about Sorry the most. Yeah, I don't know what this whole thing is with the tower being personified in this way. I took that to mean the people of the tower. It's not actually, it's a magical tower that is a literal reflection of his personality. I think he's saying, you know, the things that are there, what magic, because remember, it's a place, it's not just a place about fighting extra-dimensional threats. It's a place of learning and studying magic. It's, you know, it's the people he brought there. You know, it's a reflection of him in the way that your house, dear viewer, is a reflection of you, right? So anyway, so yeah, good stuff. We'll come back to Isgarin. Next, I think the main argument for new homesteads in the gem store is that they have a limited capacity to add them, and we would only get one per X-Pack with the specific theming for that X-Pack. There are a lot of possibilities outside of that, like homesteads themed around the playable races or the older expansions that would be unlikely to get. But if they sell them in the gem store, they might have more of a budget for extra homestead maps, also goes the argument. I think you're totally right, and yeah, I take it back. Living in the real world, they probably should sell homesteads on the gem store, because it will give us homesteads we wouldn't otherwise have. I take back what I said before. I think you're right. Yeah, fuck it. Put them on the gem store if it means I'm getting homesteads that wouldn't otherwise have existed. Just as a lot of lobbies wouldn't have existed if they weren't in the gem store. By the way, we had a donation, Bunny Lord Quinn, for $10. Thank you, man. That's really nice of you. Hope you had a fine day, WP. I heard that ArenaNet tried getting code and playable for Janthir in another video. Hopefully Guild Wars 3. Thoughts on this? Well, I haven't seen the dev quote. So I think they've been experimenting with getting playable races in at multiple junctures over the years, and it's turned up no every time, which sucks. I would love to see more playable races. I don't know whether this is the definitive final time where they'll be like, yeah, it definitely can't happen in the mini X-Pack format, or it just means it needs more time to cook. I don't know, but I haven't seen that quote, so I don't know. And I'm not going to quote a third party. I need to see what ArenaNet specifically said themselves. So anyway, yeah, it really depends how many resources for this they have and how successful the new model is. We haven't really heard anything so far as I know. And they always hold off with stuff like that. Even when mounts came in, if you remember, they didn't outright confirm the skin thing for a bit. And we got the Halloween things. I feel like Halloween will be a big moment, really. One thing I could see them adding is an empty version of the Coden Homestead without buildings, so people can build from scratch. Look at that, immediately. I thought this was going to be a topic. People wanting sandbox versions. I don't know whether doing a whole other thing is the tack, or just like a toggle to turn the buildings off. I don't know. But yeah, it's a thought. Okay, so Banjo says, from Isgaren's position in that final meeting, he's well within his right to have a mood swing. He put his trust in the commander, and now suddenly the commander's withholding information. Even the commander's responses are quite snippy. It feels kind of tense. Yeah, I didn't like why was the commander being so snippy? The commander is technically in the right for what he did, as he's not beholden to Isgaren for all of his actions, but you could consider what we did in Janthir Wilds as a dick move. Yeah, you could. It then makes Isgaren lose trust in the commander and question what else he's willing to do or what else is he willing to hold back. I don't know if their ranking in the court has been established. If you got to consider Isgaren, you've got to consider as well, Isgaren also has a history of taking on new people to the court and ultimately to be betrayed by them. Could the commander now be seen as a threat? So, I mean, I guess, but I still don't like the way he was characterized there. Anyway, it certainly was tense with Dagda talking about Abaddon's cell. I guess you could also see the lines about Mabon being guilt trips to some extent. If you cared, you would have been here kind of deal. Yeah, it is. I was talking to the Spuds about this earlier. There's a couple of people in the Spud Discord who seem to be convinced he's a mustache-twirling evil villain that's terrible and is... Like, if someone was literally trying to argue with me that Isgaren made the demon army and it's all his fault, you know, like, almost no blame on Epoch. It kind of smacks of this thing where, like, because some of the buried lore, and when you really dig down, you can see there's something quite tragic about Epoch, and you can see there's something quite arrogant about Isgaren. Suddenly, that's all that matters. Oh my god, Isgaren's the evil one, and Epoch's the lovely one. It's like, it's just completely insincere. And yeah, it's like, look, he's horrible. He's guilt-tripping in this scene. I can't believe he's guilt-tripping. Yeah, there's a little bit of a guilt trip there, but I mean, it comes from an understandable place, I think. Anyway, next, we have Renegade, who says, I wish ArenaNet would ditch the in-game cinematics, which frankly don't contribute that much, that couldn't be conveyed in regular dialogue, and instead give us the occasional animatic like we used to get back in Heart of Thorns and Living World. Those things were gorgeous and allowed us to see events that can't really be shown in-game. Actually, I agree with you. I already mentioned in the previous part, I don't really like their cutscenes that much, and I acknowledge that's because I'm playing at 2K. Not everybody's playing at 2K, the vast majority 1080, so I have to accept that the cutscenes probably look a little bit better for them. But I don't know, even beyond the blurriness of the cutscene, the mocap... Ugh. There's something about it that just doesn't feel right. But yeah, those old concept art based ones, they kind of had that grand epic fantasy vibe to them, didn't they? And I appreciate they can't do everything. So the question is, would you trade the in-game cinematics we've got at the moment for the concept art ones? I would make that trade. If that trade's on the table, and the fact is we don't know whether it is, do we? Because at the end of the day, that's the devs' budget, the devs' talent pool, the devs' timeline. We don't know any of those things. So it's kind of a nonsense, really, even to talk about this from us in the community, because who the hell knows, right? How did I get all the way down to that comment? That's the Homesteads and the Gem Store comment. That's the Mood Swing comment. Here we go. This is from Roasted Walnuts. Just an interesting thought I had. Probably not the case, but maybe long ago, before the history we know, the Isles of Janthir weren't isles, and Janthir was in fact its own continent, or a greater landmass attached to Kryta, that was torn asunder by some catastrophic magical event, and that event is the original cause of the high density of magic throughout Janthir, and why Janthir is so heavily entwined with magic. So this would be an explanation for the storms and stuff that's got nothing to do with the Bloodstone. It's kind of an idea, I guess. I don't know, I don't buy it. I feel like the chaos in the area is because of the shattered Bloodstone there. It's nice to think that it was a one unified island. I don't really see too much in-game talking about that. But it's an interesting comment, thinking about something that I hadn't even remotely thought about. So, yeah. Matt4537 says, From Software storytelling... Here I'm asking you guys a question. This guy says, From Software style storytelling is so good, in their games because they use amazing environmental storytelling. In a game like Guild Wars 2, where environmental storytelling is lacking, it doesn't work. So what does that mean, guys? Because I haven't really played these games. Like, we walk into a room and it's a dark room, but there's a single lit candle on a stool. Why? What does that mean? Someone was here before? It's a soul candle? I don't know. Is that what you mean? Guild Wars kind of does stuff like that. I don't think it's too terrible. Like a tangible example would be very cool. Right, next. Now is this comment that I managed to skip to. Oh, no, we didn't skip at all. So, Vidri says, the way I interpret is Garen, with the info we get and what we see is this. Even though he is emotional, or he has emotions, like living creatures do, he also has a great deal of self-restraint. He knows when he needs to let himself cool down before making a rash decision. Although his emotions will certainly flavour his interactions with others, I don't get the impression that he lets them rule him. If anything, I got the impression it's a lot of the other characters that overreact to him. Like Dagda trying to talk him down. I think the phrase is snarl him down, by the way. From attacking Waiting Sorrow, which I didn't read either, by the way. Or the commander, like, I didn't imagine that would actually happen. Or the commander's impressions of him in the story journal. Maybe this is just me hoping that he is still an interesting character, but I don't remember any instance where he let his emotions overcome his logic, no matter how powerful those emotions were. Except when he was Cryptis-possessed, but I mean, that's to be expected. Yeah, as far as Secrets of the Obscure was concerned, he was a reserved character. And we'll deal with that in a second. So, now I've got this screenshot. Okay, I want to read this here. This guy says, Rara Rusa 405 says, in regards to the knowledge of the Elders and Sidony, it was interesting to go back to Season 3 Massart lore tablets to read yet another take on the alliance of the Elder Races. Hold on, let me just check something here. Oh, no, that's fine. The alliance of the Elder Races from a Massart perspective. Okay, is it interesting to go back to? You're goddamn right it is. Oh my god. Here, guys, check this out. So this is what we got in Ember Bay at the Caliph. What's it called? It's called like the Caliph Fortress or something. It's an area in reference to Optimus Caliph, and I think possibly these were written by Optimus Caliph as well. That's not confirmed, but it's just the sort of vibe I get. So this is the Massart. This is not Mabon. This is not Lazarus. This is not Manakaz. This is not Dada. This is a generic Massart, possibly Caliph. In Season 3, talking about their take on the ancient battle against the Elder Dragon Rise 10,000 years ago. And it's really cool to read. Here we go. This is what the Massart say. Over 10,000 years ago, Elder races put aside their differences and forged an alliance. So it wasn't an easy alliance to forge, by the way. But they forged an alliance against the awakening Elder Dragons. If we'd worked together as planned, we wouldn't have to hide. And obviously this glosses over the fact that it was a seer that, you know, initiated the whole thing. But whatever. And we can assume that that lore wasn't written back in Season 3, but anyway. So we say interesting. Then it says, the Elder races could not agree on what to do. The Jotun hid from the dragons, and the dwarves withdrew into their fortresses. The seers stored magic for use after the dragons returned to sleep. So what this Massart is now skipping over is, so now they've decided, no, the alliance isn't good. We Massart and the Forgotten forged armies of powerful constructs to destroy the dragons. The Seers, Dwarves, and Jotun did not want to fight, and this drove a rift between us and them. We assaulted Zaitan with our army of Jade constructs and enchanted armors. By the way, there's a suggestion in this that the Massart didn't actually lose too much blood because they were using proxies. But Mabon reflects on this later and says there was carnage. He saw the sunrise, the carnage. There is a suggestion a fuck ton of Massart died. We assaulted Zaitan with our army of Jade constructs and enchanted armors. We failed, and many Massart and Forgotten died. We will never forgive the other races for deserting us. And remember, when we read this in Season 3, this was like a flip around of the conventional understanding from Arar P2 and the Guild Wars 1 stuff, that the Massart were the ones that fled. No. Everyone else bailed on them first. After our failed assault on Zaitan, our Forgotten allies withdrew to what is now the Crystal Desert. We knew that upon the other races' annihilations, this world would be ours. So here, you remember in Guild Wars 1, there's a bunch of Forgotten in the Crystal Desert, and there's a bunch of Massart around still. They're not at war with one another. They've got no beef with one another. And here's an example as to why. So here, look. Then they say we slid sideways into another layer of awareness to avoid having our magic stolen from us. This could be them going to Nyos. Or it could not be mist travel at all, because this thing of slipping sideways, that's kind of how it's referred to in RP2 as well. It's weird. I like to think this is when a bunch of the Massart left. I don't know whether the whole bit where some get left behind, those are the exiled ones. But anyway, so they preserve their magic. The Seers put a bunch in the Bloodstones. The Massart slip sideways to get away from the dragons. And so now centuries pass. The Elder Dragons consume all the magic. Our once prosperous cities lay in ruin. Barbanissos? Civilization fell into an age of darkness and brutality in the absence of magic. As the dragons returned to their cyclic slumber, the elder races re-emerged. The once powerful Jotun refused to rely on magic ever again. So here you remember in Holbrack there's Thrawn the storyteller, and he's blaming the human gods for all this. But here the Massart, by the Massart's accounting, they did it deliberately. The Jotun fell as a race of their own making. The once powerful Jotun refused to rely on magic ever again, according to the Massart. They have since remained ignorant, brutish creatures. The Seers set about sharing their stored magic with the world. Though society had devolved into divided, violent tribes, wars broke out over the control of the magic pool. And that must be alluding to shit about the gods and all that. Because eventually they decide, no, we can't do that. Remember, Waiting Sorrow is going mad and dying. And Sidony says, no, you can't give her magic, you can't ascend her, you can't fix her, don't do this. So I assume this is after that. But Isgarin does it anyway. Oh, what a villain. The Forgotten allied with Glyn and ignored the now to focus on the future. We Massart, we returned and built a base among the Fire Islands as strong as ever. The world will one day be ours. It's really cool to go back and read. Really cool. Now that we know about Manakaz and all this extra stuff and how it might all line up. You know, Shaman's Historical Guide to Tyria? I'd love like a Shaman's timeline of Tyria, you know, where, I don't know, you try to organize everything into one long, neat thing. But there you go. Okay, so cool stuff. Fun lore. Next, we got David W, who says, 2 hours in, at the end of episode 3, so this was just a nice little bit of clarity about who knew what during season 3, and a bit more about the Caudicus White Mantle stuff, which was awesome in this expansion. So look, at the end of season 3, episode 1, Caudicus is the only one who knew that Lazarus was fake, Balthazar was fake. That's because, as we later learned, he was the one who switched one of the aspects of Lazarus with the fake during his power struggle with Zira. He knew that she couldn't resurrect him. So when Lazarus returns with the Bloodstone, Caudicus immediately knows it's a fake, as the real aspect is still in his possession back in Kryta. Yeah, and we find it in his manor, don't we? So the graven images, speaking of falsehoods, he talks about in his first letter, definitely was directed at the false Lazarus. And this lines up with when Rox mentions he was in Janthir. Yeah, we kind of did establish all this in one of the episodes, but it's nice to have it laid out there. Yeah, brilliant. Next, we have Renegade. We're nearly done here, guys. I wish ArenaNet would ditch the in-engine... Oh, no, we already read that. Okay, look how far ahead I skipped. How crazy was that? It's unbelievable, man. Honestly. So Asphodel, this mysterious human in the wizards, in the Astral Court... The Astral Ward. I always get those flipped in my head. Have you guys noticed that? Who seem to know things. Is it someone of prominence? Anyway, Relife says, I feel like Asphodel might be connected to the gods in some way. They're studying entanglement magic, and the gods have sealed away at least 2 other gods in their time. Balthazar, chained up, Abaddon in the Realm of Torment. Asphodel is also a part of the Greek underworld, so maybe it's Desmina or a servant of Doom? It's very vague ideas. I'm not sure if any of these things even line up timeline-wise. Asphodel, I think, is a really interesting, very precise detail in that Chirai story, right? It'd be interesting to see if they do something with her one day. Now, she didn't have to be named. They could have just said, oh, someone help me out. But no, we get something very detailed there. Tirak says, by the way, you probably want to do the Forgotten Collection. If I remember rightly, you don't read anything, because every time you pick up a book, Isgarin talks to you with the voice acting. I don't remember what he said yet, so there you go. I alluded to that just now. I would love to do that. That might be in the next episode. But the thing is, it's like cleansing temples in ore and stuff. Maybe I'll try to set it up now, and we'll see where we go. And then RPG Crash said, Mabon's promise might be the woman's voice he hears in his head. Which I think is also a very good idea. Okay, let's do the Fractal here now. Oh, we've only got 4 people. Did somebody have to leave? Okay, guys, if you want to do the Lonely Tower with us, look, do you know what? I'm going to set it to 75 just because I don't want to bag the episode down for too long. If you want to see this story, this came in right at the end of Secrets of the Obscure. And it shows, it's a fractal set on the Wizard's Tower, and it shows, presumably Eparch has just slaughtered all the centaurs, blood and guts everywhere, whatever, however they phrased it. And now he's got a... Wait, no, that can't... Is the timeline right for that? Well, let's go in and see what it says. It would appear that 2 of our players have... Oh, no, there we go. Here we go. Have you heard about the people porting Guild Wars 1 to Unreal Engine 5? As far as I know, it's one guy, and it's just a pre-searing remake, and he's in our Discord in Spud. That was where he started, and we've been encouraging him and talking to him about it for ages. Oh, here we go.
What is this place? I can't place it anywhere interior.
Maybe I should drop the music.
Come on, Disgarin. Pick a god and thank her for your survival.
Where are the others?
Dead.
All of them?
Akeem and Voss. Waiting Sorrow is fine, but she's in shock. Won't speak or move.
Iskaran, answer. We don't have time to mourn. If this wound continues to hemorrhage, we're all dead. I'll look for the rotten imp. Call the path forward. Ward, with us. Doctor, come.
So they mentioned Waiting Sorrow there. Remember, this was before Janthir Wilds, so we didn't really have a sense of who she was or what she looked like. But look, straight away, they've just explained there that a bunch of people are dead. Now, these are people that they've been hanging out with one another for thousands of years, and they're dead. So it's kind of a huge moment. This is Akeem died, the Jinn, and Vass died, the Forgotten, at the hands of Eparch's incursion here. I can't tell where we are in the timeline. This is just, at some point, Eparch had an attack. He's already banished, I think. But he managed to have some kind of an attack? I'm not sure. Anyway, so the Fractal's very short. We run through this, avoiding the bullet heli damagey bits. You play the little chest opening mini-game 4 times in a row in here.
There they are, the ones that killed Voss.
So there you go. So there you just saw Ceres, who disappeared. And you'll see Deimos as well. And this is my favourite thing about this Fractal. Both Deimos and Ceres appear in this, and they have their same skills and builds and everything. It's so good. So anyway, the gameplay is this guy is playing the minigame to purify that node, and we have to stop the ghosts. Oh, there you go. Somebody wants to join. We have to stop the ghosts that are running in and attacking. So I'll show you what it looks like to be a defender. So yeah, I press 3, and then 4, and then 4 again, and 3. And you see they're running at me. If they get at me, they stop. Let me say 1. This is a very short, snappy Fractal. It doesn't feel like a Fractal worthy of 100. But yeah, so remember, obviously you've got Eparch at the top, and then Ceres and Deimos below. And it's so cool. You'll see all 3 of them in this one Fractal. So yeah, there's some kind of Cryptis invasion here. I think Eparch's already banished. This is just like a mini version, basically, of what happened in Secrets of the Obscure. I guess. I don't know by what means he gets through, because before he was locked out by the World Spire. So what allowed him to get in, I don't know. Anyway, so there you go. So with all that done, we're in combat. So this, oh, there you go. You can res now. So now, oh, did he GG to do that? Maybe you can GG. We run back to the door that Isgarum was at. Over here with Dagda.
Stay close. Eyes up.
Here you go. He says stay close, eyes up. The volume's very low. My dynamic range method might not be good. Then we purify this door. Didn't quite read that as that guy was running around there. Whenever you're ready. So here we get a mini boss, and it's the 2 brothers together. Now the scaling is all off. It's not, you know, it's not like actually doing the raid or whatever. But all the abilities there, like Black will land and everything. There's an achievement to kill them close within one another. But look, Deimos and Ceres. And my favorite thing about the interactions here are actually both of their giant blowout attacks can happen at once. Or like staggered in an interesting way. So here I've got Malice, which will spawn the shadow. I don't know if you guys watched my Embodiment of Sin video. But there you go. We spawn it far away from Ceres, and we want to try and cleave it down. Actually, nobody is aiming at focusing on that at all, so I guess we just DPS. So like there, the dodge the flak and then dodge that as well. It's cool. I definitely get a bigger kick out of this having done these two fights. And these are two of my favorite fights in the game ever for when their patches came out. Speaking of which, I really kind of fucked up today. I was actually supposed to be doing so look, someone stood in the black there, so we have to run away. Hopefully it wasn't me. I don't think it was. I was supposed to be killing Ceres right now, but I forgot, and I'm doing the stream instead.
Isgarin is higher in the tower. Dagda, a portal? I'm still collecting my strength.
There. I'll look for Waiting Sorrow and
This
check
place
on the
does
rest
not
of the
belong
ward.
to you.
Go.
Syria belongs to no one. They've bound as selfish deities for far too long. You refuse to harness its power, but you can feel it. I know you can.
Look at this scene. Epoch, Isgarin, and Mabon all together. They're all. Can we chill and not run straight into the fight? So here, look. If we look at the dialogue here, Mabon says, "Isgarin, I'm so sorry." He says, "We don't have time to mourn. If this wound continues to hemorrhage, we're all dead. I'll look for the rotten imp." Epoch, that is. I don't know why it's Mabon's fault that this happened here. Mabon let him in somehow. I don't know. So yeah, Deimos and Ceres apparently killed Vass. There they are, the ones that killed Vass. So then we see Epoch. Oh, they've brought mobs over to me. And it says, whenever you're ready, turn your own realm to blood and bone. Because obviously Epoch's going to destroy this whole fucking dimension. Isgarin is higher in the tower. Dagda a portal. I'm still collecting my strength. So we go high up on the tower. And then Dagda says, there's the portal. I'll look for Waiting Sorrow and check on the rest of the ward. Go. So it's kind of a funny idea that right here in this fractal, Waiting Sorrow is somewhere really near us, but we don't get to see her just yet. And anyone playing this on release probably would have imagined her as a polar Codan. So then Isgarin says to Epoch, this place does not belong to you. Tyria belongs to no one. They've bowed to selfish deities for far too long. And so there he's obviously alluding to the gods. But also, I guess, even to the Titans and any instance, or a Grawl-like instance where someone looks at something as a deity that they shouldn't. Remember, Isgarin already is an immortal and incredibly powerful and capable. He would look at the mist travelers that the humans called the gods. It's like, it's not the right term for them, and he really doesn't seem to like the gods at all. And there's another very blatant look at that. And he says, look, this place doesn't belong to you. So he's fighting for... He doesn't want to see all the people here just worship this guy as a god. He's fighting for their autonomy and their freedom. You'll notice how none of this is him being a villain, right? By the way, like, I do not buy that Isgarin is a fucking villain. You refuse to harness its power, but you can... and then Epoch has this weird thing here. You refuse to harness Tyria's power, but you can feel it. I know you can, Isgarin. So you know how Janthir Wilds kind of had this thing where it was like Tyria's a special place? I feel like they're alluding to that a little bit. Like, there's kind of this idea that Epoch just wanted to be here because it's a grudge. He's mad that he got kicked out. He was just hungry. He was just feeding on the centaurs, whatever. That's one thing. But here in the tower, we kind of get a very different idea. That he's here for a specific reason. He wants to harness here on Tyria. So I don't think it's just the grudge thing. I don't think it's just that he's mad. There seems to be something deeper going on. And remember when Mabon and Isgarin were chatting about all this? And Mabon said, well, maybe he'll be happy in Nyos. And Isgarin said, no, you didn't see the look on his face. Now, that either could just be pure fury at being kicked out, or it could be this thing he's alluding to here in the Fractal. So I think it's a bit more layered than some people are suggesting. But here we go. So this is the boss. It's just like the meta, really. I'll give you my best approximate understanding of how it goes. I have done the CM of this. I did it with my friends about a month ago, probably now. 3 weeks, something like that. So basically, there's the essences. Either you collect them or the boss will collect them. and they give you things like increased Condi damage and boon duration, Condi and boon duration, or straight damage, or lifesteal, or healing power. So basically, every time he uses an animation, orbs will come out, like these ones of rage here, which I'll collect. Each animation is so that time it was these despair ones. If I pick up the despair ones, though, I lose the rage ones. So the idea is, like, each player in your party grabs some, and you want to deny them from Epoch. He also has a thing where he'll just suck them off of the player at furthest range every now and then. And we were talking about essences in the previous part, weren't we? God, I hope the audio balance is good here. So here I can get rage again. I was a little bit slow with that, maybe? Last time I did this, I was on Condi quickness, so I was not collecting rage. I don't really have the time to. I think one of them lets you do break bar damage, more break bar damage, which is really useful because he's got break bars, and then we also have break bars in the split phase in a second, which I'm surprised hasn't happened yet. Oh wait, is there no split phase in the normal mode? In the challenge mode, every 33% he runs away and opens a bunch of portals, and you have to close them all at once. Meanwhile, enemies are running into him and he's trying to eat them, and you really just got to burn it down. And look, if you have a good comp for this, you can just blow this up really quick. It's not like a really epic battle like the Sorrowful Spellcaster or whatever. I did actually have a really enjoyable prog on this, though. Like, we did it over and over and over and just slowly got better and better and better at it, and it felt satisfying. And, you know, a few wipes later, we had it beaten. So I enjoyed my time here. And a short, sharp, snappy Fractal, this is what they should be doing. There's an issue with Fractals where it's like there's an expectation. They have to have, like, raid-like bosses, and they have to be really deep and amazing and worthy of that 100 slot. And I don't think that should be the world we live in. Oh, I didn't collect some stuff there, did I? I definitely missed a thing. Like, ArenaNet should feel at liberty to just add quick and simple Fractals. I think they don't all need the Harbinger, and they don't all need to be level 100, so it's probably a mistake putting this at 100 and sort of establishing it as something that it's not. But, yeah. So anyway, there you go. That's it. I think that's the whole thing done. Quick little Fractal. As for the ending dialogue, he gets banished.
One day, I will rip it from your fingers.
I don't know what cling to your valiance meant.
That was Epoch. You described a monster, not an army of them. He's been busy. Will he come back?
Here you go, yes, so.
With even more fodder. But there's no telling when that might be. We should tend to our wounded. Where is Dagger? Iskarin. No. There's nothing we can discuss that will make these next moments easier.
So he's devastated these guys have died. We get a little hint of the emotion. But here, look at how reserved he is. He's not prone to crazy outbursts. He's an immortal that has, you know, that has learned how to cope with moments like this. So yeah, you know, it's a sad story, isn't it? Isgarin was responsible for saving Epoch from Morgemoth in the first place. Didn't bring him to Tyria, but did save him from Morgemoth. And it went all wrong. You know, Epoch ended up learning a bunch about this realm, and whether because he's hurt by his banishment or because he wants to wield Tyria's power, as he suggested here, Epoch keeps coming back now. And you can kind of say, you know, that was Isgarin's fault, really, that Vars and Akeem died here, because he started this whole thing. But, you know, not really. I mean, like I said in Spud, you know, life is cause and effect. Things happen. He's not fully culpable. Obviously, Epoch is the villain here, and Isgarin's just trying to do what he can. So there you go. So yeah, the timeline here is he got banished. This was like a little incursion at some point. Wait, was this right after Suwon died, just as the World Spire broke, maybe? But that would be the moment that Ceres... that would put this right before Secrets of the Obscure, which I don't think is true. Because Waiting Sorrow's here. Okay, so the timeline on this is somewhere around 600 years ago. Or earlier. But this is before Waiting Sorrow left, so... After Epoch's initial banishment, before Waiting Sorrow left, somewhere in that gap. That's exactly what I've been saying. I think current Fractal should be what DRM should have been, and DRM's what Fractal should be. That's an interesting switcheroo, and yeah, I think you've got a good point there. So yeah, there you go, there's the Lonely Tower. Thank you to everybody who played that with me. I'm going to swap this to a squad now, and we'll get on to... So the next thing I want to do is the Janthir Wilds jumping... Oh, I'm on the wrong character, obviously, because this has never been there. We're going to do the Janthir Wilds jumping puzzle with the beacons, and also... when we get there, I'm going to give you just my final thoughts on that last story instance and why I'm unsatisfied by it. Let me put it that way at the very least. So it's here. Wow. So we actually logged out. No, it's not here. What am I talking about? Well, where did it start? I thought I put a starburst on it. Shit. Do you guys remember where this thing started? Oh, rainbow. Very nice. You know, I learned that FF has big rainbow. They have little rainbows around, like, waterfalls and stuff. But they do have a thing where if the weather is rainy and then it very quickly becomes sunny, you do see a real rainbow in Eorzea, and it's really rare. Like, almost no one ever sees them. That's like a Grothmar style thing. I would assume that's persistent during the day, anyway. We're going to be high for this, right? I think I'll come back to the Astral War... No, Lamplight's Perch. We're near it. It's that POI over there. I recognise it from the name. Is the new Spear quest on my watch list? Ah, yeah, I haven't mentioned that today, but that's a very good point. I do intend to do that before this Let's Play is over. So, guys, I reckon we've got 2, maybe 3 episodes left of this Let's Play. In which we round out... Like, this one's been a bit of a drag because...
Glad you're here, I am.
Ready for another round of flight? Shins of fun.
Yes, I am ready. This one's been obviously a bit slow because what we just did there was technically not Janthir Wilds. But yeah, we'll get to it. Okay, so Isgarin, I'm going to take us to the wiki. So here's my take on the final instance, okay, and that character in particular and what I haven't enjoyed. I've enjoyed 90% of Janthir Wilds. I've enjoyed the Cordicus stuff, the White Mantle stuff, the Soul stuff. I've enjoyed the Bloodstone stuff. I've enjoyed the Titan stuff. I've enjoyed the Lowland Coden and the kind of holiday nice vibe and the map here. And I've enjoyed the way that they've even structured some of the game systems. As an RPG, the game is still failing for me. But generally speaking, when we just talk about the story, I like 90% like it. I think it's pretty good. For Isgarin, though, who is kind of the focal point of a lot of these stories, I don't like what Janthir Wilds has done. And look, let me be clear. I don't particularly care about how it's justified in-game. Like, this story journal here at the end, right, which is just written awfully in my opinion. You could say, oh, well, look, the story journal says that a fight was going to break out, so therefore, it's good. There you go, look, it's justified. That's not... I'm doing media analysis here. I'm wondering if where they're taking the story is satisfying me. And on those grounds, I don't really like the Isgarin thing, right? So here's my take on that character between the 2 expansions. My take is that in Secrets of the Obscure, he's a very he's a very long-lived, scheming, plotting, careful, reserved character. He's not prone to emotional outbursts. He has emotions, and there will have been dramatic moments throughout his existence, as there would be with anything. But he has learned to be cautious and slow and stagnant. There's ego to him, and there's a bit of arrogance, and he has plans, and he has been wrong. He was wrong that the Seer Ascension would help Waiting Sorrow. He was wrong that it would, if it even happened. He was wrong with his decision with Epoch. We've seen those 2 things, and on both of those, you can see that he's made mistakes. So he's not like... And this is what's very refreshing about the character. He's not 100% a villain, and he's not 100% like a goody two-shoes guy. In general, though, he is a defender of Tyria. He's a powerful force. And why I really like the character is because of his emotionless, and it's because of his distance, and because it felt like, oh, here's a character that really understands Tyria. It's not a petty character. It's not a therapy room talk character. They felt very different to a lot of what else Guild Wars had presented to us. Felt like a very mature, an interesting character that was kind of hard to crack. That's what Secrets of the Obscure did with Isgarin, and that's my reading on Isgarin. I really liked him for that reason. So when in the Lion's Arch instance in Janthir Wilds, he very quickly and comfortably says, yeah, no, you can use the Scepter of War. I took that as, oh, that's really cool. This is a guy that really understands Tyria, has loads of these artifacts, has lived for 1,000 years. If he says it's all right, I'm going to put a bit of trust there. I'm just a puny little entity compared to him. He's almost godlike. He doesn't like the deification, which makes me like him even more. He doesn't present himself as a god. He doesn't try to manipulate the people of the world. He just tries to protect Tyria as a reality. And I trust in his expertise. So if he says, oh, you can just use the Scepter of War, then fine, I'll take that for granted. But Janthir Wilds seems to me to have completely taken a reverse tack. And it's basically said... So that's everything I liked about him. And what Janthir Wilds has said is, no, he's an egotist, he's impulsive, he's prone to emotional outbursts, nobody really likes him in the Wizard's Tower, it's his fault that Waiting Sorrow ran away, he's nasty, don't trust him, watch out for him, because ultimately we're setting up for some arc where he's going to be the villain. Now, I don't mind him being the villain, I don't mind the commander being at odds with Isgarin, I actually think that's a really good idea. So there was a comment in the previous episode where someone said, isn't it weird that we've got all these immortals and you can't even talk to them about what's going on? That does feel weird, and I think the more expansions we have, the more weird that's going to feel. Like, I understand, even though it sucks, I understand why they kill Mabon. They have to get these characters off screen, and you can see that they're struggling with that throughout Secrets of the Obscure. There's all, and in Janthir Wilds as well. It's always, oh, we could talk more to Waiting Sorrow, but no, we're just going to write her off to somewhere else. Oh, we could talk to Isgarin about this, but no, he needs to recover. But no, he's closed the room. But no, he wants to speak to Paether in private. No, he wants to speak to Waiting Sorrow in private. Like, in theory, we can have conversations and moments with them, but ArenaNet keep having to do this tap dance away from them. And that's difficult, and that can't go on in perpetuity. So I get this, like, overall narrative intent to work that into a good story whereby Isgarin is kind of our nemesis. Ultimately, there's some problem that comes between us. We're going to have to kill him. Basically, I think ultimately the ward kind of needs to go away. And it's difficult to just say, oh, they're just going to go off and do their own thing now, while there's all these, like, long-lived amazing characters there. Because they've made it a big plot point already that they're distant, and it's like, why are you distant? Is that justified? That's like a part of the philosophy and the morality of the thing that's interesting to talk about. Is it justified to have all this power and then not even really use it, right? And Isgarin's got this so that's a big story to then continue with Guild Wars as Tyria as a setting and just have them bumming around doing whatever and never really talk about it again. It's very difficult. To a certain extent, it's what happened with Ogden after we met him in the Dermot Priory for Core, and to a certain extent, it's what happened with Aurene as well in those awkward patches after EOD before she goes to sleep. And even now, that it's a bit like, oh, if they wake her up again, we have to start doing these weird things. You know, there are powerful entities. If there are knowledgeable entities, if there are serious problems that arise, you're going to go to them. And it's kind of frustrating to deal with that. So I think ultimately, from the writer's room, I get why they might eventually want to write Isgarin out, and having it as some big conflict against him, I think is great. But I do not think they've justified that. I don't think they've given us a natural course towards that. Secrets of the Obscure gave me a really refreshing, nuanced, fun character that was emotionless as far as I could tell. Reserved, distant, emotionless, hands-off. Because he's lived through so many tragedies and so many emotional moments, and now he's cut off from a lot of that. And it's so fun to have that character in the room. That's what I liked about Isgarin. Janthir Wilds, I do not... That last scene in particular... So when Janthir Wilds came around and there's that one... So remember, I didn't like the end, and I took to Wiki over these past 2 days, and I was thinking, well, hold on. So, like, it's the inconsistency of it that really frustrates me. There's two things that frustrate me. One, it feels like they've bastardized Isgarin, and there's no longer a character that I like. He's no longer refreshing. He's no longer interesting. He's acting like a juvenile. It's basically just like a bunch of petty teenagers in a room. It's very similar to, like, the Boohoo Bram arc, in which it was frustrating. Like, it's not the impulse of having emotional characters is wrong, but it didn't feel like it was right for Bram. And here again, it's like seeing them pettily, like, oh, I'm going to throw you into Abaddon's cell and all this shit. Oh, you're guilt-tripping me. Oh, you're doing... Like, it feels like they're kids. It's like, what the fuck? I was really enjoying the maturity and the... Oh, what's the word? There's a really good word for it. It was very understated, okay? These were understated characters, and it made sense for them to be understated because they'd lived so long and they were taking this long view. And I felt like we'd gone back to just petty, boring storytelling with all of them. So one of my issues is I don't like to see Isgarin twist in this way in Janthir Wilds. And again, some of you are going to say, oh, but look, you can see this and this and this in Janthir Wilds. It doesn't. I'm not talking about how they justify it. I'm talking about the media analysis, that the decision to turn Isgarin into that in the first place. I think that's been sloppily and hackily done to justify this broader idea of us versus him. I think they've done it in an unnatural way and in a way at which I really didn't buy. There were slight suggestions and buried notions in Secrets of the Obscure that he's had these emotional moments, but they were very small, and Janthir Wilds has just basically made him look like an egomaniac prick, which is not what I originally got from the character. It's not what I wanted the character to be, and now I think, oh, he's just a lame character if that's how they're writing him. Someone in Spud said they basically Smodered him, and it's kind of like, yeah, they kind of just turned him into a cartoon. Smoder was quite an interesting, captivating character. It's sort of like Arena that aren't comfortable with a villain that is genuinely straddling that line of being a bit of a shade of grey. It's like Minister Lee, they turned into a complete cartoon character as well. It's like they don't want you to actually empathise on any level. It's not really mature storytelling. And it's one of these things where I'm like, am I really in the demographic? It's like they're really nervous that they're going to influence people into loving a bigot. So therefore they write Lee like it's aimed at a 12-year-old or something. And that caution, it kind of just makes it feel like this is just not fun storytelling. It's not sincere. And I don't think that they've been sincere with Isgarin. So that's one thing that they've completely twisted him away. Secondarily, it doesn't really feel very cohesive. So I went on Wiki and I looked and I looked and I looked. Where are these signs that Isgarin is really overly emotional and that the tower doesn't even really like him that much? And everyone's on edge. Like, is Dagda always, like, ready to rip his fucking throat out as we go along? And when we look at all of this, it's not there in Secrets of the Obscure. I looked and looked and looked, and then I went to the Spud Discord and I said, guys, do you have any sources of Isgarin being, like, completely, you know, volatile in the way that he's now being depicted in Janthir Wilds? And there really isn't any. So I really, really didn't like that. So on that note, okay, let's remember what is actually our interaction with Isgarin in the first game. Like I say, they have to do a tap dance around and away from him. And actually in Secrets of the Obscure, he's barely even in it because the entire quest is finding him. The World Spire is cracked. Ceres has infected his mind. He's going mad and he's off screen. Isgarin's barely in it. The only time he really comes on screen is right towards the end. There are 2 instances, so we can actually get his character creation. We can get a lot of how the characters interact with him and how they see him and all that. Right here, so check this out. So if I click this is me. You'll notice the fancy effect here. So this is the World Spire. This is the penultimate instance of launch Secrets of the Obscure, and then after this is the final instance, Treachery. So let's see. So this is where at the World Spire we found Isgarin, okay? This was the very end of it. Zodja says, Commander, it's time. We know where Isgarin is. Paitha's talking to us, and she's saying, you know, it's irrelevant, that bit here. So we get to the World Spire. Scrolling down. Oh, wait, am I on the wrong instance? No, I'm not. So there we go. Approaching Isgarin. Commander, are you okay? Zodja, I promise I'll explain, but now's not the time, because we have Paitha in our head. What are you doing? So we find Isgarin. Urchip gasps, and Isgarin says, what are you doing here? And Dagda says, Isgarin, it's us. She's being nice. The whole way through this instance, she's being nice to him. Sounds like you got a heck of a cold, friend, says Lear. Ceres laughs, and Isgarin says, one fate awaits everyone. And Dagda says, no, not Isgarin. After him. Dagda says, Isgarin, we're here to embrace you. We're here to embrace you. Oh, it looks like you've got plenty of help without my hand. Dagda says, Mabon made a choice when they brought the Wayfinder in, and I didn't agree at first, however. And Isgarin says, Mabon's optimism got him killed. Unfortunate, but not blameless. You speak of our friend with disdain. You've been here. Compromised. So they're blaming Ceres for this, for just laying out. Look how cold he is. Just laying the facts out. That's what he is. He's cold. He's a cold character, but he's not a total villain. Anyway, we do some fights. Isgarin's in pain. Dagda says, push back, Isgarin. He says, what, do you need my power now? Why not look to your new Wayfinder? And Lear says, to take an axe to Mabon's memory, we need to keep up with him. Do you think he's... And Dagda says, he's not in his right mind. Something's off. He's, you know, Isgarin. He can be cavalice, but not uncivil. Now, if he's not uncivil, he's always civil. What the fuck was that final instance at the end of Janthir Wilds? More Cryptis. Some stray commander. Do you think you're helping them? Do you think that you're doing anything but causing more pain here, he says to us? And Dagda says, don't let him get to you, the Wayfinder. And we say, Mabon chose to trust me, and you can too, Isgarin. I may not be a wizard. And he interrupts us. He says, you've brought back the world to the brink of ruin. Do you realise if you hadn't killed Zaitan, he's talking about the Void. And we say, don't you see what the Elder Dragons destroyed with every cycle? The lives they ruined? You didn't witness the terror they wrought firsthand. You hid. And we're wrong to say this, by the way. He absolutely did witness that terror. He says, there is a line and you don't see it, but how could you? I exist at the edge. You scurry below. So there's this sense that there's something greater, a bigger plan. He says, I protected this world for ... you couldn't fathom. And Leah says, I think they can, and they've saved it just the same, you dusty codger. Collect yourself. So there's a bit of antagonism here. Reactions. This is all the product of reaction, your emotional decisions. Remember, again, he's Ceres controlled here. Reach my age, see what I've seen, and maybe you'd start to understand. Your eyes have flashed with parades and songs, celebrations to honour the blood you spilled. Sit in the shadows for a while. Would you save the world if no one saw you do it? This was a really good line, and the commander said, yes, of course. And then we defeat him, and we save him. He says, get out of this world, stay away from this place, to Ceres. And Frode says, we follow. He will hear us, Wayfinder. So we get outside. He says, the higher the tower, the longer the fall. Oh, no, he's not. We haven't saved him yet. We just defeated him in that one fight. Be as stubborn as you like, but we aren't going to abandon you, whether you disparage you or your friends. The Wayfinder has fought with us. They were there for Mabon when you weren't curator. Mabon, he... ... And then Isgarin says, please, I can't keep him away. Who is it, Eparch? And Paether says, much worse. No, it's someone else. Which is weird, by the way, this bit. How is Ceres worse than Eparch? That seems a bit awkward, doesn't it? I don't get this. Anyone want to clarify here? Paether suggests that Ceres is worse than Eparch. So we get to the World Spire. He says, stop it. If we bring down the Spire, then... Lahir says, I don't want to hold Isgarin on a pedestal, but we can't lose him. Dagda and I will try to expel whatever or whoever has their claws in him. So then we fight him. And the fight's over. He says, enough. He says, look, and here he's being really nice. He says, I know your spirit. Life gives so little to you mortals. Like, he has empathy for the people with short lives. As many as he's seen come and go. That's it. That's all you get. Then in the final instance, this is the better one. So then we're in Nyos again, where the expansion started, and we fight Ceres. And Isgarin's helping us, basically, in this fight. And he says, we're in Nyos. And Ceres says, Isgarin, the curator. And Isgarin says, you're the one that's been toying with my thoughts. You're visually striking, at least. And Ceres says, to see you here in the Temple of Febe, this is grand. Febe was, he was one of the best of us. The tip of his left horn brushed this ceiling. And Isgarin says, Wayfinder, come close to me. And he basically protects us. He was an idol to, how would your kind say it? Autonomy? Deimos silenced his dream just over there. Eparch watched with a smile. That's what happens when you fight back. Even though my brother is gone, his dream is mine. Eparch will see that Deimos and I are truly the same. I am just as capable. I brought him the head of Isgarin. Because remember, Ceres is just trying to prove himself to Eparch, in Eparch's eyes. And then Isgarin's really injured. And he says, you need to fight Ceres alone. I can't. And we say, I don't know if I can. And Isgarin says, look, I can give you enough strength to move. So Isgarin frees us. We fight Ceres. Isgarin's in pain and dying. Ceres dialogue, Ceres dialogue, Ceres dialogue. Paether. We defeat him. And Isgarin's basically down and out for the count. So in the epilogue... this bit was all pretty good. So Paether, the demon, is standing there in the epilogue. And Dagda says, someone explain to me what this Davrek is doing there. Which is an interesting word. And Isgarin says, I don't want to see this place in ruins over something so petty. And Dagda says, are you well? How's your mind? How's your power? Your head? Look, she's doting over him. She's being careful. He says, I am home. And Lahir said, I didn't think we would make it out. And Isgarin said, no, neither did I. Dagda says, I need you to connect you to one of the celestial strands. If someone could get my needle. And he says, I could use some water. And she says, but you don't need water. He says, it just reminds me that I'm alive. More importantly, we have questions to answer. I'd very much like to talk to you, Paether. And this is the Highness bit. She says, and are you your Highness? And he says, no titles, not in my home. So a little hint about that. And she says, oh, curious. And he says, let's talk somewhere private. We needn't stress anyone else with this conversation. So they write him off to the side. Bunch of stuff with Zodja and Wayno and Dagda. Finally, you can go back to Isgarin. And Paether says, there's a lot to suggest, I realise this. And Isgarin says, Wayfinder, I'd have preferred to welcome you to our home myself, but Mabon had other intentions. You spared him. Unfortunately, our troubles are not over. And Paether says, I'm Paether. In my world, blah, 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 blah. And Isgarin says, look, you're using language that suggests an alliance between us, Paither. And she says, well, let's pose it to the Wayfinder. Should the demons and the people of the tower ally? And Isgarin says, societies limp under poor leaders and recover like clockwork. Because Isgarin's seen despots come and go over and over and over. He can't intervene with every single one, you know. That's the point he's at with his life and his perspective. And Paither says, Eparch's eating his own. And we say, he's feeding on other cryptists? And she says, our blood is his blood, and eventually we will be dissolved. And Isgarin said, and that is tragic. And Paither says, look, killing Eparch is a mutual goal, Isgarin. And she says, look, I'm not meddling in foreign politics, Lady Paither. Letting him devour your entire people while upsetting could ultimately help Tyria. Look, the pragmatist. This is the stuff I liked about him. But basically, Janthir Wilds is twisting this just, oh, he's a dickhead. Oh, yeah, we should think in the small term. We should be reactionary and knee-jerk. We should get involved with everything. We should tamper in the, you know, so. Anyway, can't let another invasion start without bodies, can he? But he can come here himself and do the same to this world, and he's quite fond of it. And Isgarin says, I've turned away from many beings from outside. Especially after the gods and the damage they wrought. Again, he does not like the gods. I've also neglected to ask for help and to accept it when I've needed it the most. And then we can chime in. And that's it. Talking to Isgarin, he says, you're my new Wayfinder. We say, I am. And you're the one who fought through an army of cryptists to save? He says, I am. He says, I call him Isgarin. He says, very informal for someone who's never met me. And we say, sorry, I've heard so much about you. He says, I don't care what you call me. Isgarin's comfortable, he's comfortable, but I've been called many names. And all of them are as true as this one. I've lived many lives, and I've always looked like this. And I haven't always looked like this. Sorry, I was going to say. You've always been a mystery to me. You first caught my eye in the pursuit of Zaitan, and I started to piece it together. And we say, you've been watching, why didn't you help? He says, it's not my job to interfere with nature, and the path unfurled as expected. You're alive. Most of your friends are alive. Remember, he might have been watching this in the Fractals. And we say most of them, like we're mad that a couple of people died. And he says, oh, calm, life is death, and things could have been far worse, I promise. He's probably seen alternate versions where lots more people died. Remember, this has come from someone whose entire race has died. So yeah, he's kind of chill about a couple of... He's not too cut up about Tybalt's death, sorry. But again, this is what's fun about him. I like to indulge in this. I don't want to see then the story throw a fit about his characterization here. I do want to thank you, Wayfinder. Your aid was clearly needed, and it will be needed much more with your friend. And then we can say, I'm curious, can you tell me about Sears? He says, my kin, I would not be surprised if I was the only one you'll ever meet. Mabon and I were both birthed by stubborn beings, and like the Tyrian Massart, my kind are all dead. You see how he says Tyrian Massart here, by the way? Not all Massart. And he might be wrong about this, by the way, if Dada's out there. We say, I'm so sorry. He says, we didn't age well, and we lived a very difficult existence. Of all my thousands of years of self-reflection, I barely spent my adolescence among them. I parted from the Horde after, well, we once tried to fell the dragons, the elder races of Tyria. The Seer Doyen, Sidony, by the way, this is a real title, someone told me. Sidony cried for war, but just before we were to aid the Massart in their attack, Sidony decided against it. And we've talked about that more than enough. The Massart never forgave us for that, and I empathise with that. They would turn to bones and scraps and bile, but they would hunt us for thousands of years after, a few hundred of them for all of us. You and Mabon then, yeah, it was an unlikely alliance. He was different and more so resembled the Massart I'd met external Tyria. Brutal, yes, but fair. This is all really good stuff here, guys, by the way. Remember, so here they're being very clear, Tyria, the Massart outside of Tyria are fairer. He was different. He wasn't like them. He resembled the ones outside. He was brutal. They outside are probably brutal as well, but he's fair. He's endured as much as I have. Massart external to Tyria? Some at least, who could say. Mabon searched, but he stayed here all this time after all. Perhaps they were not worth finding. Look at all the hints and the stuff they're doing. So anyway, good lore in there. And then, of course, hopefully we all remember very well the post-patches in which Isgarin barely is around. But after it's clear that there is a winning chance against the demons, he lays his forces down and he helps us siege the Citadel. That's it. So then, let's reread, real quick, that final instance. So yeah, so then when Janthir Wilds came out and it had that message about, oh, when Waiting Sorrow left, I screamed and it was... I was going to open a portal to the... What did he say? He was going to scream to the Domain of Anguish or something. I thought, that's weird. Is that a joke? Is that actually the same character? Like, it didn't feel right, and it's not sort of what I was enjoying about that character. And also, I want to say as well, with Secrets of the Obscure, Waiting Sorrow is another part of this. Waiting Sorrow, to me, was a fascinating character in Secrets of the Obscure. There was this huge mystery about her. Wow, what could have compelled her to leave? She has, you know, the ascension didn't quite work, and she was ascended out of the madness of being a voice. This is amazing. I mean, so she left. Why did she stay away? There was something big between her and Isgarin. Why couldn't she just go to him for help? And what has Janthir Wilds done with that mystery? It's basically just said, oh, she just fucked off. She just left because she felt like she had to. She didn't seek help. Not really. She wandered around on her own. Isgarin saved her life, made her an immortal, gave her immeasurable power, taught her crazy shit about the world. She represents a lot of stuff. She can't fall and be corrupted by the dragons or whatever, yet around the period of an Elder Dragon Rising, she just leaves. She just fucking abandons them and walks off. That's not nice. That's not a decent thing. Dagda should be furious with her. Isgarin rightly can be furious with her. Whether he would have a petty emotional outburst, I don't know whether I really enjoy. But, so, Janthir Wilds has not established Waiting Sorrow in a good light whatsoever. But let's look at this final instance here, and how they treat the whole thing. They basically ask me to see Waiting Sorrow as just a sad, like, injured, weak little Coden that we should like, and Isgarin's the bad guy in all of this. And I don't like the authoritative, kind of clumsy way in which ArenaNet wrote the scene. That sort of means that is how I must interpret it. So let's read it. It seems so ham-fisted, a lot of this stuff. Ready? Here we go, guys. Sorrow in these halls. And then I promise we'll get onto this jumper puzzle. So hopefully through all of this I will have illustrated what exactly I didn't like about this stuff. So, the final instance, what we just played, and what I really wasn't liking. I already didn't like the way they were treating him about the Scepter of War thing, doubting him. I didn't like the thing in the book about his screaming in anger when Waiting Sorrow left. This all could have been very good if they wrote a good story about it. Here we go. So we come back to the Wizard's Tower. Well, hold on. Waiting Sorrow says, when I left the Wizard's Tower years ago, a Wayfinder hadn't been named in years. They must trust you. Not at first, and we say not at first, but in helping them keep Amnitas afloat and defeating Isgarin's nemesis didn't hurt. And she says, well, will you come with me? I could use that confidence of yours. And we say, of course, I'm not dead in the canyon. None of us are, thanks to you. Well, whenever you're ready. So we go up there with Waiting Sorrow, who's done a bad thing. Ah, she says. And we say, how did you get past Amnitas' defenses so easily? And she says, well, I built them. Which is already kind of insane, really. Like, so, how do you want to go about this? And she says, well, I'll follow behind. I'll let you mingle first. Might trigger a war if I walk through the door before his ego is properly fluffed. Now, again, look, I know the story apologist's instinct is to say, well, yeah, maybe he is this crazy, egotistical brat. Maybe he would start a war. Maybe he is, and I know, obviously, we're just using that as a turn of phrase. Maybe he would have a fit and he would get really pissed off and there'd be a big fight. Maybe he would. Who are we to say? We've only seen fragments of this. We're the commander. We've only just got there. Maybe it's true. But again, that's not what interests me. What interests me is that that's what they've turned this character into. Sure, they can maybe justify that if they like. And I'm going to have to accept that, as far as Janthir Wilds is concerned, that's who Isgarin is now. But I'm not happy with just the impulse of the thing. So, oh, what? Oh, that's lame. Okay, I guess he's just petty and juvenile. But Waiting Sorrow seems to really believe that might happen. Okay. So, oh wait, Wayfinder, before we throw another log on the fire. I mean, what fire? Thank you for not telling them. Well, it's not my story to tell, but you should. And we walk in. Isgarin's deep in conversation. She informs us there are not 2, but 3, all of which survived the encounter. 2 a week, the 3rd unsure. He's talking about the Titans and what we just experienced. Excellent timing, Commander, says Anise, who's just like moseying around up here. I take it you won't need an update given your participation in recent events. And Dagda says, can you shut the door behind you? So we do. And then we say to Anise, wait, how did you get here? And she says, well, Isgarin let me here. By suggestion of the Alliance, I'm aiding the Astral Ward's acclamation to modern Tyrian affairs. And Isgarin says, so, they all live. I imagine you didn't simply allow that to happen. What were the circumstances? And Dagda says, what has your mood smelling like an elder's backside? Which again is already like, he's sarky. He's sarky. What was sarcastic about what we read about him before in Secrets of the Obscure? When was he really quippy and sarcastic? Sarcastic. So we said, well, look, we almost killed 2 of them, but a 3rd intervened. She was really strong, a bit more cunning than the other ones. So we left. And he says, disappointing but rational. What of your 2nd mission? Did you find Waiting Sorrow? And we lie. It's a lie of a mission. It's clever wordplay, but we lie. The Titans kept me occupied. I'm still working on it. And Isgarin says, fine, I suppose our clock bears too many hands. And here, he's not very nice or personable in this, but this is consistent with Secrets of the Obscure, and I like that. I don't need him to be personable, and I don't need him to be a white knight. He's made mistakes, and you can see them in Secrets of the Obscure. So I'm fine with this. I'm fine with him being jerkish, but I think someone being like jerkish and having poor interpersonal skills because they've just lived too long or they just don't care enough anymore, I think those don't automatically mean that this guy's cannon fodder for a villain arc, right? So anyway, Dagda says, what second mission? And we get the, in my opinion, ugly, weird cutscene. Cutscene comes through, and Isgarin says, the Titan Imperatrix, a foe I did not expect. I still don't understand this line, by the way. We're talking about Ura. I don't understand this line. The whole scene feels really weird, especially when we get to the story journal in a second, like it was cut up and changed at the last minute or something. Oh, no, sorry. So I think we're just still talking about the Titans. I think Ura is just the Titan Imperatrix. And then he says that threat should be conquerable, so long as we continue to get along, ... And Dagda says, Tyria united, it sounds like a fable. Well, it's been kind of united and boring for a while now. Anyway, Isgarin says mostly united, but it's true, and we need to nurture these bonds. They cannot fail. Look, he stands for a united Tyria, an autonomous Tyria, a protected Tyria. The door opens, and Waiting Sora walks in, and his response again is to be like weird and sarky and quippy. When a door is shut, you should leave it that way. And they say, and Dagda was really surprised, Sorrow, and Waiting Sora said, Ren is Garen. Then he says, you lied to me, that's new. Did she fill your mind with wild theories and hypocrisy? Because we haven't lied before. Now, I take that, again, as like, not delicately phrased, but not like overly dramatic. Like, I really hate this response from Waiting Sorry. Don't be dramatic, Ren. Like, what? Come on. Like, it's just... I really loathe this line, the don't be dramatic. I don't know what it is that gets it under my skin so much. But I do not take him as being that dramatic. Obviously, it's an acerbic comment. Obviously. And what, she's trying to cut through that because she's just, you know, she won't allow the sass to happen. I really hate this line. You know they're beyond simple manipulation. I didn't come for a fight. Yeah, but she has withheld loads of information. And why were we lying about it for as long as we were? So explain yourself, Wellfinder, now. And again, he's like overly mean or short there, maybe? I don't know. I'm sort of okay with this line. We pick our lie. It doesn't matter. Isgarin says, well, I'll deal with you, Wayfinder, later. So, how did you get inside? And Waiting Sorry says, the towers always liked me best. You know that. I had that comment at the start of this episode, someone saying they didn't really like that. We don't have to go on about that. And Dagda says, Waiting Sorry, you're... Waiting Sorry, who should be pissed with this character. She says, my dearest friend, who I abandoned by, I have stories to tell you. And he says, stories? The whole cause of this Titan incursion may fall at your feet, and you just want to tell stories. Yeah, it's a big deal. These Titans are here. You've been in the area. What is the... And there's obviously... So someone in Spud was saying that this is completely baseless. It's not for us to say if that's baseless. Isgarin isn't just lying and being mean and, like, making shit up. Like, obviously, it's not a coincidence that Waiting Sorrow's in that area, that Isgarin was looking for her in that area, that the Titans are around in that area. It's clear there's something more we don't know about this story, but he does. There's stuff to discuss. And instead of coming back with any urgency about any of that, Titans killing people and rampaging around, she's just like, oh, yeah, I have stories to tell. So, yeah, he's a little bit acerbic about it. And her response is just disgusting. Your instinct to make everything an intellectual brawl has always been exhausting. Do you see how they just make him out to be a prick? And, like, the whole thing was dysfunctional all these years. And that's not what we read just now in the Secrets of the Obscure stuff with Dagda caring about him and wanting to sort shit out. And again, I know there's this thing where it's like it can be both. But it feels like there's no balance here. It feels like they've just completely restructured what it was. He says, so explain. So help me, Isgarin. I will open a... And then Dagda. This is an awful line as well. It's just... terrible line after terrible line after terrible line. Everything was almost 100% miss for me. Dagda saying, so help me, Isgarin, I'll open a gateway and lock you in Abaddon's cell for a century. For what? I mean, what world is this justified? Waiting Sorrow getting absolutely no critique. One of the only good bits here that I did like was Waiting Sorrow does at least reflect a little. She says it's fine, his alarm isn't unwarranted, I left you all, I abandoned the ward, I didn't say why. Yeah, no one's getting in her face about it. I don't know why she's on the up and Isgarin's on the low in this one. Jormag raged in the north, threatening the Highland and Lowland, they needed me. Just kind of hand waves it. Oh, you were being a hero this whole time, were you? But when Jormag fell, the storms calmed, my mind was stilled, I couldn't return yet, I needed them, my people. My presence during the Titan attack was purely happenstance, she explains here. I sought to remedy it, but then your wayfinder tracked me down. All who knew my identity were asked to conceal it, but I always planned on coming here to settle affairs. Which is what she's doing now. While I wasn't the cause, I do have an inkling of what was going on, and I don't know how concerned it is. This is fascinating. See you in 3 months, I guess. Really cool. And we say, oh, you didn't share that? And she says, and then we get written out of the room. Waiting Sorrow says, no, the Blizzard of Wizards should remain in the court. Isgarin, where's Mabon? And he says, dead a year ago. You could have mourned with us. Even here, by the way, they could have had Isgarin be like, yeah, if you were with us, you might have helped us fight back. You might have been able to deal with this in some way. But he doesn't say that. He just says, you could have mourned with us. And again, people in Spud were saying this again is him being a prick. I don't know, man. I felt it, she says, which is interesting, I guess. Dagda, because the story journal is gonna allude to the fact that she felt it. And then Isgarin says, Dagda, can you escort this countess and the Wayfinder home? Waiting Sorrow, I need to speak alone. And we get written out of the room again. Then there's Smarty fan fiction conversation with Anise. And then Dagda, we can ask if she's okay. I don't want to console Dagda. Every day that passes since she left us, I thought she was dead. I thought Jormag might have killed her, that she travelled into the mist, no intention of returning. I thought, none of that matters, she lives, Waiting Sorrow lives. I don't know how you did it, Wayfinder, but you brought her back, thank you. It's like, the hostility is misdirected. I guess there's something good about that. You know, it's like when someone cheats on someone else, and they blame the third party instead of their partner. She should be blaming Waiting Sorrow, not Isgarin, but hey. And then, so there were multiple levels of this that missed, and hopefully I've explained where I'm coming at this from. But then here we go with the story journal, which is written really weirdly, and like that final instance was cut around and changed. Like maybe they were going to have a fight, or that cutscene was going to be a fight cutscene. Part of me wonders if there was going to be a battle cutscene, but then they didn't have like the time to make it, so they rejigged it a little bit or something. I don't know. Okay, so let's read. Waiting Sorrow asked me to accompany her back to the Wizard's Tower with ambiguity looming on the horizon. Actually, do you know what? We don't have to do this in this. We can do this in-game. So there we go. Sorry, in these halls. When we arrived at the familiar crisp air of the Wizard's Tower, I asked how she managed to get past Isgarin's defences. Very matter-of-factly, she told me she cast the defences herself. Waiting Sorrow is no threat to the tower. Before entering the war room, it's like, that's even weird. It's like, so early in this expansion, there's a lot of weird lines about how Waiting Sorrow might be suspicious in some way. But it feels like I never really got that, or why that was being put on as much as it was. And then in the end, like, there was a bit of intrigue and mystery about her, but like, I didn't feel the way that the commander felt as this story went along. And in retrospect, it kind of feels like they're just trying to put to bed the idea that Waiting Sorrow did anything wrong. She's no threat. She did nothing wrong. But Isgarin... So, before entering the war room where Isgarin waited, Sorrow thanked me for not telling Stoic Order and Poizara about her darker history. It's simply not my story to tell, but she should soon. When I entered the war room, I was surprised to see Anise fully at home, going over intel with Isgarin and Dagda. During every stage of this journey, I've both been surprised and completely accepting of the Countess's involvement with the Wizard's Court. Like here, okay, this line, this is something I don't like about the story journal. It's very authoritative about how I should feel about how things happen. And it's like... Oh, there was an example of this in Core Guild Wars 2? Or maybe it was in POF? Sometimes ArenaNet will do this thing where they very authoritatively state, you should feel this way about this event. Usually in the story journal, and I appreciate that's very difficult to escape. Like, it's not easy to write the story journal without doing stuff like that. But it really, if it whiffs, it feels really bad. On this occasion, it's fine. I feel the same way. Yeah, Anise is around, sort of makes sense. We've had Livia up there. It just feels natural. So it's fine, but it's dodgy whenever they do it, and I think this story journal does it a lot. If anyone knew about them before the rest of the world, it would be her. When Isgarin looked to me for news on Sorrow's status, I played ignorant, knowing all too well that his target would be walking through that door, and then she did. Dagda's jaw dropped to the floor as Sorrow entered the war room. Instead of launching himself at her, which would have been a fascinating battle to witness, Isgarin turned to me instead. What? Since when was Isgarin a character that flies off the handle and would jump and attack waiting Sorrow. Are there huge chunks of this story that we're missing? Like, that makes no sense to me at all. But it gives, and let's assume that the instance is cut, or even bits of Janthir Wilds is cut. It gives us a good idea of what ArenaNet want us to be thinking about these characters as. Apparently, Isgaren's a hothead now. What? In what world would he? But apparently, that's who the character is. So I guess we just have to accept that the commander thought that might happen. Apparently, don't know why. This ties into that thing as well. If a lot of the story is told in little jigsaw puzzle pieces all over the place, if I don't have the right jigsaw puzzle pieces, it can contaminate what the main story does, you know? But again, and this is why I went back to the previous expansion. I don't see Isgaren as a hothead. There are not nice things about him, but he's not flying off the handle. I let him be mad. Oh, it's so bad. I hate it, guys. With all of my being, I hate it. Sorrow, exposed and vulnerable, posed no detectable threat to him, but Isgaren sought to assign blame. What? Like, yeah, okay, so Sorrow is just this sad little bear lady. Look, the one way in which I end up loving this, by the way, is Isgaren's vindicated, and it turns out Sorrow has done something horrible. That's the only way in which I'll enjoy this. But for several characters over Guild Wars 2's history, that has not been what's happened. So I don't have much hope. I let him be mad. I'm the one who brought her back after all. I just didn't bother with chains or shackles. The rest was too on them. Thankfully, Dagda snarled Isgaren down. Yeah, fuck you, Isgaren. Snarl him down. That's right, we should be arguing like children and shouting at one another. Us immortals. It's lame, man. Fuck this. I really don't like this. Her friend returned and she wasn't going to let the room come to blows when Isgaren's temper finally calmed enough to have a mature conversation. And again, like, okay, so if I imagine that there was a different version of this instance where it was a lot hotter and whatever, maybe this story journal doesn't read so badly, but even then I'd be questioning why it was such an explosive instance. And I'm wondering, in fact, if that's why it wasn't such an explosive instance. Maybe they'd done a last-minute cut or something. I don't know. But even if we accept this is all what happened, it's still not good storytelling. It feels vaguely unprofessional and weird and disjointed. It's not good. It's not high quality. No matter what angle I look at this, and I'm on Guild Wars' side. I like this game, and I like this story, and I like this lore. But I'm not into this. She asked Isgaren if Mabon was dead, and while our ancient friend was gearing for a guilt trip, Sorrow said that she felt it. Her words had weight, and even I didn't know what that meant. So again, in the scene, that felt it thing, I guess that's a mystery we meant to focus on. Isgaren picked up on it immediately, though, and asked Dagda to usher the Countess and me out of the room without another word. And then this final thing, which is a real head-scratcher, Titans, missing wizards, now found. Mabon's memory suddenly suspect? What's going on here? I do think that the later patches will give us more detail about some of the nastiest stuff Mabon might have done. Particularly above in Issos. But again, that cutscene and that scene didn't actually do any of that, yet this is here in the story journal. So again, it alludes to the idea that it might have been cut or changed. I loathe this story journal. It's awful. And I'm really unsatisfied that, again, like a cool character is just treated, just flanderized and smoldered as we speak. And again, so listen, guys, I just got very snobby and very emotional and very, like, over the top with my commentary there. Look, it's okay, all right? I don't like the end of this, and I've tried to justify to you why I don't like the end of this. It's okay. I like 90% of the rest of the expansion. I'm not going to stop playing Guild Wars. I'm no longer an advocate for Guild Wars. You don't have to be devastated or fucking mad or frustrated. I've already had a lot of, like, patronizing DMs and messages just on my knee-jerk take of it on the last episode, of basically people who cannot countenance the idea that the story wasn't good. It has to be 100% good. You have to love it the whole way. It's really frustrating to try and play and talk about these games and, like, do it honestly when there's always this thing, like, there are people who just can't handle the thought that everything was perfect. I don't think it's perfect, guys. I don't like the end. It's alright, though. It doesn't matter that it's not perfect, in my view. Maybe you love the instance and you think it's justified and you think Isgaren's a more interesting character if he's a hothead flying off the handle and stuff, and all that. Maybe you like that. I don't. It has hurt my enthusiasm. Like, I was getting really into this again, but it has kind of hurt my enthusiasm going forwards a bit. But it's not a big deal. I'll continue to cover it. I'm not like a full-time hater. Please don't feel the need to go off on one at me, is basically what I'm saying. Now, if you have tangibles from Secrets of the Obscure, if you think that I'm taking things in the... If I'm missing something, I do honestly want to know what I might have missed. But yeah, and there was a long conversation in Spud today where I feel like the participants, like their comprehension of the story was just so off and so insincere. And so, like, basically it's like, okay, here's how I feel. I feel that because the end of Janthir has recharacterized Isgarin as a monster, we now must now must throw everything at him. Oh, it's his fault all the demons attacked. It's his fault this happened. He's terrible. He's awful. He's guilt-tripping constantly. He's nasty. He's mean. Look, ArenaNet aren't wrong to do that last story. So the story's perfect. The story's great. And Isgarin's just terrible here, and, you know, and basically twisting the facts and not being sincere. And I don't really like that. I did not enjoy discussing this patch, to be honest, with regard to the last instance. So, there you have it. Now, we are going to do a jumping puzzle, and I will look at the live chat, and we will just see what we think. Wait, what? Where do I get the torch? Oh, from this. Okay, so there's 10 of them, right? And this, I think it's fair to say, has been the longest intro of this LP. But it's a lot to talk about, and, you know, these are my honest, at the time, reflections of the end of Janthir Wilds. And I will say, it really is just that last instance in that story journal that just... Ooh, I just want to shake it off and cleanse it away from me, basically. The rest of it's like all been very, very, very cool. I need to reorganize. So am I on a time limit with this, or can I just take my time? It's not going to run out. I think just don't hit any water, and I'm alright. Oh, yeah, okay, immediately the first thing I just saw in chat about... Someone said the word woman. Look, I don't want to get into the culture wars thing as well. Because I don't think that's fair to the game. I don't think that they're that... I mean, you guys can have that conversation if you want, but fucking hell, that's... If there's ever a way to turn a community toxic, it's by getting involved with culture wars. So... Let's not do Culture Wars 2. Let's just talk about Guild Wars 2 for now. If you think there's some agenda or whatever, I don't know. There's more than enough threads and fucking on the forums and wherever else. You think they've not recharacterized him as a monster? It's the opposite. Well, see, I don't know whether I think that they've recharacterized him as a monster here. I wouldn't say that either. I think they're gearing up for a conflict with him. I don't think that they've... I think some people have taken that last instance and they've reframed his entire thing. I don't think the game itself has. I think that basically ArenaNet are clumsily setting up a sort of conflict with him down the line. That's what I think has happened. I think they've been very clumsy. I think they've put a lot of words in my mouth through the story journal that I don't believe in. I think they've given a free pass to Waiting Sorrow. And I think they've tweaked the characters. And I think they've taken... I feel like they've taken away someone I really enjoyed in the previous story. Or, if they haven't already, they're seeking to. And that leaves me a bit miffed and upset. At the end of the day, it's just a video game. It's just a character, one character in the story. But there's a lot of focus on him, but, you know, so it's not like the world's ending. But yeah, so I think they haven't turned him into a monster. And I think they've written him with nuance. And they're not going to betray all of that nuance and take it all away. So I think that was one I missed before, by the way. It just seems weird. Like, why can I skip so much of this? Is it because landing on that platform is somehow easier and more palatable than doing this? What did I just get? Oh, one of the waterfall achievements, I assume. Let's see. And by the way, guys, if you drop a comment and I've missed it and the conversation's gone, just type it again. I don't mind. We need someone dumb and weak? What do you mean? Do you think we'll learn more about Samurog during the X-Pack? That's a completely different topic. But yeah, I would love to. Actually, I was thinking about that the other day. That Samurog, the idea was maybe an entity or an animal from Janthir, and we haven't seen anything about it. I would love when we go to Bavanissos for there to be a Samurog type situation. Yeah, I think that'd be amazing. Assuming we're going there. I'd say the fact he is seemingly more emotional brings weight into how much he cared about Sorrow. There was a moment of clarity when Sorrow mentioned meeting, feeling Mabon. I think that's another thing as well, like, oh my god, oh, this is cool. Like, I didn't... Oh, they've even changed the music. Like, I feel like that wasn't set up very well. Wait, how am I supposed to do that? I'm gonna have to glide. Like... The commander going in there, believing... Oh, fuck. Oh, no. I could feel it as I went for that jump, and that wasn't going to work. Shit. I was going to cheat with the Jade bot as well. And I was talking at the same time, so I just got stuck between all three. I failed. Damn it. Alright, well, let's try again. Oh, they're all still lit, though. Do I have to relight them all? Braziers lit. You've lit some of the braziers. You must light all 10. Okay, so I can just glide there now, right? Oh, that's a bit of a weird shortcut. This is gorgeous, by the way. Absolutely beautiful. Yeah, I feel like if there was like maybe an instance or something, some moment where I really got to feel that there was a lot of tension about the waiting sorry thing. But to play through Janthir Wilds, the book that Frode gives us, where Isgaren's reflecting on the fact she's left, that random thing, oh, I was going to curse about the Realm of Torment, that felt really out of character, just weird and unjustified. And that was it. That was all we had, right? That one little thing that I wasn't even sure if I was meant to be taking literally. Because he just is that just a bit of a sarcastic little like quip or joke, which also would have been a bit weird. So yeah, that didn't land for me. I feel like I would have accepted that if it had been set up a bit more. No, they stay lit. It's really easy. Yeah, that's a shame. I'm going to use the bot here because I might be able to squeeze another one out in 30 seconds. This jumping buzzer was wide but not complicated with a lot of gliding. I like it. I mean, the shortcut at the end's a bit of a shame. Remember, I have gliding masteries, not everyone will. Yeah, that's true. Yeah, that is a good point. So here, Lahir's hologram says we all know how Isgaren is on a very bad day. It's implied he's not a 100% mature leader. Yeah, and I'm fine with that. Is that from Secrets of the Obscure or Janthir Wilds? Because again, what I'm saying is Janthir Wilds feels like I'm happy. I don't need him to be a robot. I'm fine for him to have a bad day. I'm fine for him to have a bit of a mood sometimes. I think that's needed for him to be realistic on any level. So I think that's all well and good. I mean, I've got no problems there at all. But it's one thing to say that, and then to do what they're doing at the end of the instance here. And, you know, I could feel it as well. The way that a lot of the stuff about the Scepter of Ore was written, that Lion's Arch instance, as good as it was, it seemed to just take the default position that if you were an advocate for action, you were an immature, like, hothead. And Isgaren was advocating for that. That's kind of how there was, like, an underlying fight. It wasn't very subtle. And I thought, that's weird. And they've put Isgaren in that corner there with that. And that's why I tried in the early episodes of this Let's Play to really make it clear. I don't think... Oh, so do we return now? I lit all of them. I can open the chest. But where's the chest? The last one was here. Oh, it's there. Nice. I was almost tempted to go back up. There we go. Light up the Vale. I believe, guys, that's the jumping puzzles done. Am I wrong? We've done the bee. We've done this. Is there anything else? I suppose we could look at the achievements. Right, next, though, we're going to do what is in the thumbnail and what I opened this episode with. We're going to do getting the crew back together. Now, the prerequisite for this is to do an adventure called Scouting the Vale. Bronze. We need the bronze reward for that. So let's look for any adventure icons. God, I don't see any. That's Raven Scouting. Wait, Scouting the Vale. I mean, what map is it in as well? Oh, by the way, you remember there's that other fish thing that we were going to do? Apparently it's been... And it was really hard. Apparently it's been patched, guys. It was patched with the push update 2 days ago. So, it's this here, I think. This Salmon Shore run. So apparently it's really easy now. Hide and Seek. That one is... It's at Moon Camp. Oh. That's the Salmon Run. That's Raven Scouting. I don't remember doing Raven Scouting, so maybe it's this. Scouting the Vale is the achievement for the adventure called Raven Scouting. That would make sense. Tero says, I agree with you, WP. They're taking all tension away from the story. You have an interesting grey character, and because he's not pure good, they just make him an arsehole. I mean, that sums up some of how I feel, certainly, yeah. WP, the whole point of that journal is to highlight how much Isgaren cares for his fellow immortals and how awaiting sorrow leaving felt like a complete betrayal to him. It also makes note of his disconnect between who Isgaren is and how others are perceiving it. Really? I didn't get that takeaway from it. I would have thought, because I viewed him as a very calculating, pragmatic character. And I don't think he needs to be in love with his fellow immortals. If he views Waiting Sorrow eventually as like an asset, basically, right? She has certain capabilities in the construction of, you know, the bastions and whatever we're doing. She understands magic in a certain way. She takes a long view like me to a certain extent because she's got so many years of life with her. She knows a lot. She knows our vulnerabilities. She can't afford to get corrupted. All these pragmatic reasons you don't want someone just roaming the countryside doing whatever the fuck, like a loose cannon, unaccountably so. They're all like very like cold, dispassionate ways to view his friends. But I think that's fine. I liked him cold and dispassionate. I like him cold, dispassionate, but with this hint that maybe there was a bit of a romance going on with Vass. And that maybe she softened him somewhat. That's the character I quite like. Okay, because I don't need Isgarin to be a nice guy. That's not what I'm looking for from that character. Like, do a villain story. Have him be a big enemy and, you know, do that. But write it in such a way that is through how cold he is. And how disinterested he is, and yeah, have his ego and his arrogance in it a bit. Don't have this thing where everyone's overtly just calling it the way that. Well, look, we've gone through it. We've gone through it. I'm flying too far away. Oh, it was I flew up when I should have flown down. Let's restart that. By the way, I know that these are easy to bag on as adventures for being too easy, but I genuinely like these. Just again, because it's a bit of a pace breaker, you know. It's just a bit different. I should have done this in episode 1. I don't remember doing it. Oh yeah, continued. Also, he broke rules to have her ascended. Yeah, like he gave up a lot. He essentially got exiled because of his compassion for Waiting Sorrow initially in ascending her and lifting her up. And it feels like there's no breathing room in that story step to, on any level, feel some sympathy for him. Thankfully, he got snarled down. Ugh, God. This is nice. Just tap one. Oh, you're right. Yeah, sorry. There's movement. Okay, my bad. My bad. I'm looking at chat a bit too much. You might go so far as to make him autistic. I don't know whether that. I mean, they might. I don't think that's a good idea. It's more. It's kind of real world. Too real worldy to me. I don't know. I don't think I'd enjoy that. That's funny you calling him autistic. I think it's discompassion born from immortality. It's a very weird, human, real-worldy thing to do that. I don't like the idea. That's the worst thing they've written since Archbrute Saga. I mean, each expansion has had its stinkers, I think. And, you know, these are huge products, you know. Like, I can forgive them. It's a huge job. I know it's a mini X-Pack or whatever. But there's a lot they got to write. They're not going to nail every single little bit. You know, it's forgivable. You know, I often feel that way. Like, I'll do, you know, like this Let's Play is how long? You know, you can do like a 20-hour Let's Play or something. And because in 20 seconds of one of those minutes in one of those hours, you might have made, you know, a mistake. You get chewed out for it. It's like, well, you know, you talk for 20 hours. Let's see what comes out of your mouth that might not be wholly accurate, you know. You have to forgive when it doesn't land. But I'm not going to hide from when it doesn't land. That's the difference. I don't want to just be like, oh, it was brilliant. It's amazing. There is no autism in Tyria. That's why the cryptids wanted to invade. Oh, God. What does Renowned Heart Tier 5 unlock? You didn't notice any changes? Yeah, that's a really good topic, actually. I don't think that's going to be in the Let's Play, guys. Like, maxing out the Renowned Heart tiers. I've heard there's bits of dialogue, but I haven't seen anything super substantial. If there's anything amazing, any cool revelations and things, please let me know, everybody. And I will, Oh, wrong way. And what I will do is I will, edit them on like it's a wiki section. But obviously, maxing out every heart every day, it's not going to happen, I think. Oh, yeah, Goric, I suppose, yeah. That's a good point. They don't let us develop our own opinions on the characters. They want us all to feel the same way because it's easy to write. Well, look, it's the constraints of the format. This is not a branching RPG. They don't lean on, like, choices. So, like, even when we could lie to Isgar in there, you didn't really get to change that. This is why, when I say, oh, it's really exciting to see the Dignity, Charming, Ferocious system, I really would like them to leverage that, yeah, to give players a little bit more self-expression. And I think, talking about constraints of the format, it's forgivable. This is cool, coming under here. The story journal is tough. The story journal is going to be authoritative at some point. They're going to put thoughts into the commander's... words into the commander's mouth. And, you know, only a small proportion of people are even going back to read it, right? So, to a certain extent, it's insulated. It doesn't matter too much if it's really terrible or whatever. For me, doing this Let's Play, reading that, I didn't enjoy that story journal, I have to say. Like, I have sympathy for the devs, how the game is currently structured. It is tough. It's not easy. So, you know, for me, it's not so much about that. It's their impulse of where they want to take the story. Again, it's the media analysis of the thing. It's like, what's a captivating story to them? What do they want this character to be? You know, and I find there's something, like, offensive to me about the idea that they have quite a cool, reserved, pragmatic character in Secrets of the Obscure, and then their further progression on that is that, no, this guy's just a bit of an emotional prick. Like it's not... It's like they don't even understand what was fun about him, you know? There's something weird about that. It's like there's like a meta commentary, you know? I don't know. Anyway, so we scouted the Vale, and now we get a mail, and it's from Zizel! Wayfinder, I hear you've gotten in touch with your animal side. Good, good. I've made my way to Moon Camp, and if you have the time, I could use your assistance in an experimental potion I'm developing. Come find me at the camp for details. Okay, I guess we get this, but I had a prediction that this was going to be to do with Manakaz's experiments, but not requiring souls. I'm now thinking I'm totally wrong about that. But okay, so Zizel, secret missive. Holy shit, and we could have been doing this for ages. So getting the crew back together. Apparently this is really fun. I'm down for it. Let's see what we got. And yeah, this idea that you I mean, I would accept a commander that's not me as well. Fully autonomous, has its own thoughts and feelings and views and things. I'll accept that as well, but I feel like Guild Wars is kind of in the middle where it sort of doesn't work. FF has a really amazing thing with this as well. You're largely a silent protagonist, but they end up going into the places with the story that reveal things about who you're playing that is amazing. Really, really cool. They play with this in a fascinating way, and you'll see that in my Let's Play if you join me for that. Wayfinder, I have a favour to ask. Vast cared for all things natural, both flora and fauna. We can't favour one over the other. To that end, I've undertaken my masterwork. Interesting, what is it? Well, it's a potion, of course. One that, once imbibed, gives the consumer some limited ability to speak to animals. If they're willing, of course. What do you need from me? Oh, I need dialogue on, I'm sorry.
To accommodate the vast differences in the way creatures communicate. This very experimental potion fine-tunes, let's say,
I love his voice.
Vocal cords based on visual and olfactory input. It has to adapt to the biology of all known sapient species of the world, which, as you know, is quite diverse. I started small, with ants. Brilliant conversationalists. But I digress. It's ready for a real-world trial, you see. It's likely safe to consume. That much I can guarantee. But the broader ramifications of it cannot be overstated. Therefore, I've purposefully limited its duration and range. It will only work on some of the creatures within Janthir. Beware that to some creatures you will merely appear as prey. To others, competition for resources. And some are non-verbal. The potion cannot simulate scent or other forms of communication. Yet, is this all quite clear? Good. Now, there is a feline hiding in Moon Camp. Why not start by having a chat with him?
Okay, so is this going to link in the end into the whole way that the Titans have been communicating with one another? It's exquisitely complex. So we can smell and we can speak. It has to adapt to the biology of all known sapient creatures of the ward. So we can talk to animals, basically. We have a potion that allows us to speak to animals. Also, in chat, Shroom says, Sigh, I guess I have to put a wall of text in Discord someday about the things you seem blank on about Isgarin in the journal. If you genuinely think that I'm missing elements of his character or something, if you genuinely think that, yeah, throw me a DM. What I'm not interested in is story apologists throwing walls of text at me that don't really address any of my points, which tends to be the actual case, or like they're missing it themselves. Just because they like it and they're sad that I don't. Look, it's okay if at some point we don't like the same thing. It's not a big deal. I don't want to feel like I tell you, this job is really unfun when it feels like being honest means being attacked. Please don't attack me for my take on this. You can give me more information. I'm willing to change my opinion on it if there is actual tangibles. If there's a lot of stuff in Secret of the Obscure that really kind of explains or rounds this out more, maybe I missed some bits with like the side achievements that make it all flow a bit better. Maybe there was more in the scene, but I mean, I'm very doubtful, guys, because like I said, I really did spend a lot of time looking around on the wiki trying to find something that justifies what, in my opinion, is a recharacterization, and I couldn't find anything. And I'm not a total chump when it comes to this franchise. You probably shouldn't touch this. Okay, so you want me to find the cat, and they're hiding in the moon camp. Oh, we're going to speak to all the ducks and everything. Is it all here? Hello? Snuggling Stone. Meow. What do we have here? Blem, blem, blem. You don't smell like the others. Who are you and why do you bother me? I'm a friend. I'm helping the others here learn more about animals. Well, lesson 1. We cats do not have friends. We have serfs. I see. Well, in that case, is there anything you need, my lord? I have my rock warmed by the sun. I'm quite content for the moment. Though there is someone now in the nearby village who may interest you. A feline of some renown. Have you heard of Miss Jeeves? Miss Jeeves. Okay, I'm now believing that this is not full of intense lore. Miss Jeeves. You've not heard of Miss Jeeves? She is extraordinary. Once she impersonated Chauncey von Snuffles III himself and made off with the Farron's family famous fur rug. She is an absolute legend. I see. I'm sure you don't. She pilfered the leg of Joko's favourite chair to use as a scratching post. She left a hairball on Inn's throne. She bested a horde of Skrit in the sewers of Lion's Arch with one paw. This is amazing. Okay, you've made your point. Now, where can I find Miss Jeeves? Rumour has it she is sniffing around the village. Perhaps one of the locals has seen her. I suggest you inquire with them. Now, if you'll excuse me, I must return to my napping. Run along now. Good day. Good day. I should go check in with Zizel. Oh, we'll speak to Zizel first. Hold on, in like episode 2 or something, didn't I find Miss Jeeves? I feel like it was in like this house or something, wasn't it? Oh my god, this is Fading Aurora's house. We should go see what Waiting Sorry's house was like with the context of knowing who she is. Wasn't it in like one of these houses? Was it in Waiting Sorry's house? Let's see. I met Miss Jeeves at the start of the Let's Play. Oh, at the very start. You're not a chump, but you tend to miss the forest for the trees if you have an idea about something. In your opinion. For example, your content of fight in the journal, it meant a verbal one, or a debate, well, it wasn't much of that either. Obviously, what, you think I don't understand a fight can be more than a physical altercation? Obviously. Obviously. But it wasn't much of one either. They were like, oh, this intellectual... What did they say? Is really draining after he'd said like one word. Wayfinder, how goes the test? Were you able to speak to the cat? I was, and he was not shy. Any ill effects? Vertical pupils? Hairballs? An uncontrollable urge to clean yourself in front of others? Negative. He said I should seek out some other famous cat. Indeed. Fascinating. Well, if you're up for it, let's follow this trend and see where it leads, eh? A rigorous test of the potion. I suppose so. Alright, now to find Miss Jeeves. This is great. We're just going to go on a wild goose chase here. So I'm going to check the house that I went to straight away. I don't know if there's an icon. It was the hat with the cat. Sorry, the cat with the hat. Oh, is it this? There's a thing there. Oh, but I feel like it's not. Well, let's see. It's on a roof. Oh, it could be up there. I bet it is, actually. I bet it is. I'm going to Warclaw. Is the poster child of this X-Back, after all. Might be an unpopular opinion, but I've never connected with the commander. Most of the time, they just feel very artificial. But I don't think you're meant to connect. I mean, that's the thing. Like, when you start writing them with their own thoughts and opinions and all that kind of stuff, they kind of become an entity you might connect with. For the most part, they're supposed to be a blank slate. You know. And this isn't a Guild Wars 2 thing. This is just a video game storytelling thing. Well, let me... RPG storytelling thing.
Oh, Outlander.
Because you could play as Kratos in God of War or whatever. You know, you can obviously inhabit a real character.
Could I borrow you for a moment? I just want to ask a couple questions.
Okay, this is not it. Well, hi. I'm sorry to bother you, but would you share a story or two with me of the lands beyond? It's been a long time since I left the wilds. Sure, what would you like to know? Have you met any Coden in your travels? Plenty. Oh, is this the Star-Crossed Lovers we're starting? I've spent some time in the Northern Shiver Peaks battling Jormak. The Shiver Peaks? What about the sanctuaries? Oh, please tell me you've been to one of the sanctuaries. What's this really about?
Oh, I am sorry. I got carried away. There is someone I know who lives in a sanctuary. Someone I miss terribly. His name is Winter Sky. Could I trouble you to bring a letter to him? I cannot go myself. Oh, and flowers. I will write the letter now, if you would be kind enough to gather some flowers for me.
The cat is closer to water in Harvest Den. Okay. Oh my god, I was just reading so much chat there. Yeah, guys, look, I'm not interested in doing any Guild Wars 2 pods. I'm doing this series. I'm going to have a channel update. Oh god, I haven't even talked about all this yet. But there's going to be a channel update, but basically, you know, I'm swapping pretty heavily to FF once we're done with it. I'll give this series all the time it needs in the world. And there might be another Guild Wars project between the two. But yeah, like, I'm not going that deep with it. Gather 5 wildflowers for Flowering Meadow. You just wanted some flowers. I totally didn't take in any of that. Let me reread it real quick. I got carried away. There's someone I know who lives in a sanctuary. Someone I miss terribly. His name is Winter Sky. Could I trouble you to bring a letter to him? I can't go. Okay, so we're bringing him a letter. And we're bringing him some flowers. Okay, I believe this is like a Romeo and Juliet type thing. So if these guys are isolationists, don't tend to interact with the outside world very much. How did these two end up striking it up? I guess we'll see. Also, yeah, I had a really cool comment from someone talking about this like nature of how isolationist these guys really are. Like, would you call them xenophobes or just like alone? Like, are they different to perhaps other Ministry of Purity you might have thought of? I think that the idea is people don't want to think of these guys as like, you know, racists that dislike everyone else. They're just isolated, right? So near water, I have to say I really love the river flowing through this map, flowing down and down and down. I really am. The more I play on this map, the more I'm liking it. Is it? Oh, here we go. Wait, so I was right. It was in this house. How that stuck in my memory, I have no idea. Wait, is this Waiting Sorrow's house? No, that's next door. What was this thing with the plan? Someone's got a plan for the vaults in Lion's Arch. Evan Nashblade's the mark. The take. Said to be 6 million in gold. Double that for silver. Unknown copper amount. Platinum, perhaps? I always love it when they talk about platinum. Only touch Evan's personal fortune. Meddling with the market itself will only paint targets on us. Security, 2 Lion Guard at main entrance, 24-hour watch. 2 Lion Guard by the vault door, 24-hour watch. 9 staff in the lobby. Unknown number of security inside the vault. Expected to be heavy with further traps. Time, night. Need exquisite night vision and a sensitive smeller to keep watch. Also require a loud voice to warn us of trouble once we're inside. Phase 1, need a team to... I did not read this before. Did I? Need a team to distract the guards at the front of the vault. Someone cacophonous and cute. Rest of the team will approach the back of the vaults from the inner harbour. There's a small creek with some crabs, but no Lion Guard. Ideally, we persuade the crabs to help if I can find some brains who can perform a bit of smooth talking. How do you do that? Do you have a potion like this? You can talk to them? Also need strong swimmers, since this will be the exit route. Ribbington has already placed a boat by the bridge for the getaway. Phase 2, tunnel through the rock wall by the creek. They were sloppy during the reconstruction. Nice touch there. Neglected to fix many of the cracks and holes made during the attack. The smallest of us slipped through. In case the distraction does not pull the security out of the vault, we need someone unbothered by a bit of bloodshed to deal with them. Preferably no casualties, and the ability to fly would be scrumptious. People rarely consider airborne threats, so traps are likely to be ground-based. Could get a smaller flyer to disable than an insect, maybe? Phase 3. Enter Evan's personal vault and start ferrying the gold out with the hired muscle by the tunnel, as much as we can carry. In and out, quick and quiet. Leave enough gold that the copper-coveting char won't realise anything is missing until it's far too late. Calling Evan a copper-coveting char is amazing. Phase 4. Pearl Islet is particularly pretty this time of year. Is that the, Oh, I haven't been everywhere. Is Pearl Islet here? Yeah, it is. It is. Where they actually just had a patch, which means if you go there, your clothes no longer turn off. I wonder if I go there. Like, what if the heist has already happened? This is very cool. I don't remember reading that. Who was it that was here? And it sounds like they can kind of communicate with animals and use them for their bidding, right? Is this me missing the wood from the trees? Zizel's looking suspicious. You think Zizel might have written that? Oh, Zizel's getting the potion ready. Oh ho ho! No, I don't think it's Zizel. Order confirmed. They do guest wounded and travellers, and they know something about the ongoing as otherwise. Yeah, and they do that for us as well, obviously. Right at the start.
Kitten. You must be the tall glass of milk Snuggling Stone mewed about. I can see you're familiar with my tongue. I hear you want to tickle the ear tufts of every fawn, wolf, and bear, from the forest to the bog. Well, I have a proposition for you. A little, you clean my fur, I clean yours. I'm assembling a crew of professionals.
Wait, the cat did it.
One last job. Only the best.
It's him. This is the cat.
I could use a cat with your
Who wrote that?
freedom. You might need to bend the law just a whisker.
I couldn't read it before,
Cat
could I?
burglary, perhaps. Nothing unsavory.
Oh my god, this is amazing.
What do you say, kitten?
No, he's environmental storytelling. He's got the coin pouches there. I think last time I interacted with that thing that said the plan, I think I couldn't read it. I think it was like cat languages. I bet it said it's got like scratches and shit on it. And I bet I was like, that's weird. It's cat language. This is the heist guy. Oh, it's great to have an answer straight away, isn't it? I need your fleet walking. I need your fleet walking and sweet talking to put this crew together. You'll help me, won't you? Hold on, are we gonna do the heist? Zizel did want me to follow the thread, I suppose. You wouldn't want to do... by the way, the voice is amazing. This whole quest has got really good voices in it so far. You wouldn't want to disappoint the Zizel now, would you? And I'd be devastated if you turned me down. Okay, show me the list. Oh, we got a bunch of objectives all at once there. Ms. Jeeves needs someone with excellent swimming skills. Needs someone who can produce a loud croak as a distraction. Someone small with a good nose and great... So we're looking for just different animals. Oh god, but this is... should I just go to Wiki? Or should I try to do this? We had a donation. Thank you, Derek. With the $5 Canadian, I think that is. Plot twist, cats have been everywhere and seen everything. They'll end up revealing the deepest lore secrets you can ever dream of. Yeah, it's kind of a huge thing, actually, to suggest they're all capable of language. You just need to be able to interpret it. And look, they're actually scheming and plotting in this way. It's kind of a big foundational thing. It's very Divinity as well. I don't know if you guys have played Divinity Original Sin or 2, but where Ahu's wandering around in his cat form. I got real flashbacks to that there, listening to that dialogue. Thank you. Great pairing skills. Thank you. I appreciate that you recognise the quality of that there. Yes, this side quest is fun, but it raises problems about what races are and aren't sentient. Yes. Unless they reveal I'm hallucinating the whole thing. Like, the potion is just... this is only existing in my mind. Which would be a really cool way to tie it up, but still have the fun story. Okay, so getting the crew back together, it's a cat story. Someone with a loud croak. Well, it would just be a frog or something, surely. I'm just trying to think. Does it map to events in the expansion? Does it map to world bosses? Or BG3? Yeah, talking to animals. Absolutely, yeah. Sticking with Laurie in there, obviously. Most of them you found for yourself. It took a while, though. You few you had to double check from Wiki. Well, yeah, in the interest of not wasting time, I will, I feel like it's sort of a real cop-out to do this, but, you know. I'm trying to search the achievement name, and it's not coming up. Oh, it's because it's not getting, it's getting an apostrophe. Getting the crew back together. Okay. So, the person with swimming skills. Oh my god, we're going to become a salmon. We have to do the salmon run and follow the adventure. In the adventure, near the finish line, while we are still a salmon, there's a fish in the water called Salty the Sly. Wow. Okay, yeah, I kind of have to wiki this. But that's so cool. What? Hidden within the adventure. Oh, this fucking wall has caught me so many times. The adventure's like down low, right? It's on a raft. Yeah, hear this. Oh my god, that is absolutely fantastic. Oh god. Just, sorry guys, moving windows around. I love that spear idol. Okay, so where we're looking for him, right, is... This is the Springer's peak. And he's a salmon in the water there. Oh, no, I turned it off. Oh. There we go. While the main event is underway, the time trial is not available. Okay, so the race is going on. The race ends in 50 seconds, so I guess we'll wait. It's nice to come back here. This was a real highlight of this expansion. By the way, they should have given people who got gold a purple title before the nerf of the timer. Oh, not on this one, but on the other one. Yeah, I mean, I kind of love that idea because it would definitely make people who grinded EOS, no, not EOS, just LM, like, feel jilted or hurt by it. But it's hard. It's just not raiding, so, you know, in some people's minds, therefore, it's not worth anything. But it sounded like you had to have, like, endurance food and, like, aquatic infusions and all kinds of stuff just to be able to remotely get near it. I wonder, from a development perspective, how that ended up happening. How did one event have such a wild... Was it just like a typo? Was there a 0 there where there... Was there not a 0 when there should have been, so it's off by a factor of 10 or something? Why is the model a spawning salmon? That's kind of sus. Is it? Alright, here we go. I'm going for speed. Let's channel the spirit of boots. Okay, dash is the movement. I'm not sure I like what I've done with the audio. You can't really hear the music right now. Well, because I turned it down. This actually makes me feel a lot like, you know... Oh, fuck, did I miss one of the checkpoints? I did. Well, actually, it doesn't matter for what we want to do. Oh, there's a cool sound effect with that. The blue... Look, I mean, look at this. The sharpening on the froth on the water comes out really well as well. Okay. I think after this waterfall we're getting close. Don't hit the rocks. Oh my lord. Be interesting to do this in reverse. Like you hit a button and you... Because that's the thing, right? They go upstream, don't they? Right, apparently there's a guy in the water here that we can speak to. I mean, even to notice this while you're like focused on the finish line. Oh, there's an achievement marker. Oh, does he patrol around? Oh, I think I just got the marker at the wrong thing. It was the Springer's base, not the Springer's peak. Okay, so he's obvious. I thought he was going to be in like a cave or something as well. Nothing like it here. Flying through the water, the smell of sweet muck at the bottom of the river in your gills, tangy crunch of krill between your teeth. It's something, so I've got an offer for you. An offer, you say? You must know who I am. Once I was on the dinner menu of a certain pirate queen, but I outjeweled her chef and stole her name. Now I'm on the run. I love the look at the icon on the top right as well. Oh, so good. Right, sure. Have you heard of Miss Jeeves, the criminal mastermind? The name has crossed my fins. I assume we were talking about Tyler for a second there, by the way. Think she might have eaten one of my cousins. Don't worry, it's fine. I have hundreds of cousins. She's getting a crew together for a big score, and she needs a swimmer. Ain't no faster than me. Upstream, downstream, you name it. I'm your guy, so long as the score is good. You're in then. She's in the village. She'll explain. No, Wiki definitely has this misaligned on the screenshot. There you go. Cool. So we got someone with swimming skills. I'm adoring this. Okay. Now so it is all in the expansion. While the event, collect frogs across the river and bring them back up to the pot is up. Now we all remember that event. It's a fun one. Pick up a frog, jump in the water. The message, the frog slipped between your fingers and you swear she gave you a salacious wink as she made her way down river will appear. No way. Afterwards, complete the event, and then you can find Miss Legs, the Temptress, downriver from Salty the Sly, along the base of the cliffs. Fuck. Okay, so the event itself happens. It's like here, I think. Oh, this is really good. Your great fish voice, just missing the glug. Yeah, we were underwater after all as well. I should have done it. There's no excuse. Did a bad job with that. I'm sorry, guys. Legendary Conqueror of Salmon. Now that's good. I think it's... Fuck, I don't know. There's like a log... This map's amazing. This is actually... The more I look at this, and all the rivers and all the different directions and stuff, it is fast becoming one of my favourite maps in Guild Wars 2, just in terms of like the layout. I think it's around this corner, around here. I'm going to guess. This seems a bit thin, though. This is definitely too thin. This isn't it. But maybe I can climb up there. Genuinely, I really like this map. This is one of the best maps they've done in years. There's a cache there. And there's some good competition there, you know. I know a lot of people bag on Kaineng, but in terms of vibe and distinctiveness against all the other maps, Kaineng's like hugely different. Oh, this doesn't look right. This doesn't look right. I don't know where I'm going, guys. Oh. Yeah, let me go to Wiki and find a screenshot where it is. Okay, it's here. This is where it is. So we can go there and run north. Sorted. Agreed as well. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, it's lovely, isn't it? Even now, you have 2 metas and a tag on a non-meta map. Lots of stuff to do. Great to explore. Beautiful zone. And there has been a lot to do. It's true. It's that thing where it's like it's all achievements, so you'll do it once ever and then never again. But all right, so we need to wait for this event to come up, I guess, unless we speak to someone to proc it. Maybe that event over there. We could also go get another animal in the meantime, and then return here in a minute. No, that's definitely not it. Alright, let's just skip to the next animal, and then we'll come back. We need someone with a small, good nose and good jumping skills. Oh, this one's cool. Again, it's event reliant, but it's an event that I've done a billion times and I expect will probably be up. Someone with a good nose. Very refreshing and natural after Secrets of the Obscures map. Yes, I agree with that as well. Here, look, behind this pen here, there's a guy right here. Fang, the wise guy. Oh, it's a little baby Warclaw. Oh! Is it a Warclaw? I think it's a Warclaw. So hungry. It's just some cabbage. What's the big deal if we have to have a bite? Can I interest you in an opportunity? Can you hear my stomach growling? I'm going to start growling soon. Tell you what, next time the cubs break out, you steal me the cabbage I've had my eye on, and I'll swap stories with you all day. Fine. I guess one cabbage won't be missed. Okay. So while this event is going on, you grab a cabbage. Not one of those. Wait. Yes, one of these? No, this amazing cabbage here. An amazing cabbage. And this is only while the event's happening you can do this. Then we go back. Oh, all the details in the different areas of the UI there, like the interactable was called an amazing cabbage. Crunches. So, I have an offer for you. Crunches. Have you heard of Mrs. Jeeves? The cat can smell her from here. She's getting a crew together for a heist. She's a climber and a jumper. Jumping her... Sorry, she needs a climber and a jumper, though. Jumping her? Why didn't you say so? As long as there's danger, I'm in. Time to leave those rascals behind and hit the big time. You're in there. You're in then. She's in the village. Nice. So we got Fang, the wise guy. Yeesh, calm down. I'll go soon. Just let me enjoy the rest of this cabbage in peace. No. Nice. Okay. Next, we need... Oh my god, are we going to go to Lion's Arch by the end of this? It would be amazing. Miss Jeeves needs someone with excellent hearing and night vision, as well as a loud howl. This is going to be an owl of some kind. So again, unfortunately, there's another event that needs to be done. Help sheltering dusk heal the wounded wolf pup. A timber cave. Oh god, and it's like all underground and stuff. I don't know where that is. We're looking for a fairly horizontal waterfall. This one? Oh my god, it is. There's a cave. Oh, okay. We're going into this cave here. Oh, I remember that cave. Okay. I remember this cave. It's not a problem. Oh god. The achievements with events. It's working out so far. I guess as long as we can, and the rifts as well. So yeah, this is a ruin shard thing? I can't remember. I think Ura's... Someone left a cool comment, and I've totally forgotten the details of it now. But the Ura's stuff, like, had a different name. Wow, that's so much torment. Okay, weaken the rift. Close it up. You hope the next patch adds a follow-up side story? Oh, that would be cool, wouldn't it? It would be really... Oh my god, my inventory. Oh, that reminds me of something I keep forgetting to do. Yeah, it would be cool to have a follow-up event. Where, like, maybe the story of the heist in Lion's Arch is unfolding as the patches go along. Like, each of the 3 months, they give us a little bit more, you know? So basically, there's an event we need to do around here. And then once it's done, there's an owl we can find or speak to. I don't know if this is related to it. Do you guys want to do it with me? I'll tag up. I'm on EU. Anybody want to fight this wolf with me? I think I probably got to break. Do I have to do this? Oh, maybe not. No. Oh, that's cool. He's got nice loud sound effects there. Have to avoid the beams. There you go, we got 2 people so far. Oh god, what's that? Oh, that was just him jumping onto me. I thought it was an enemy behind me for a second. Imagine an instance with the heist where we have to be sneaky. That'd be fun. Yes, it would be fun, and it would be cool to go back to the Lion's Arch vaults. I remember always being very excited about those back when the city was rebuilt. Now, odds are on that this is not the event we needed to do, by the way. Yeah, I don't think it is. I think what we... okay, it's called Help Sheltering Dusk. Heal the Wounded Wolf Pup. And I was wondering if there was like a follow-up to it in which this champion spawns. Man, the electrical raptor sounds good, eh? Don't know whether he's going to go to a pup now or something. Let's real quick go check the this event. Maybe it's procced now? Oh yeah, speaking of this honey flower I'm about to grab here as well. There is this whole other thing going on, guys, of the homesteads, and I still don't know how and when to squeeze that into the LP. What I'm a little bit nervous of is people were only watching for the main story, and now that it's done, people are going to get bored. And I know there might be a temptation now to drop me a message and say, oh no, I'm not getting bored, but, you know, you're the ones that left. So I don't know. I mean, I don't want it to drag on forever and ever and ever. Anyway, everyone list here, check this out. Janthir Wilds, supply launch. It says receive the first drop immediately and 3 more between now and September 9th. So you get the Janthir Wilds contract board, a wild boar mount license. Sorry, a wild raw mount license. And so on and so on and so on. So, oh, there you go. Look, I get them all, I guess. So I won't really look through these, I guess. I thought it was only going to be 1 week. We'll keep doing the quest. But yeah, I did want to point out I bought those. And, Janthir Wilds Expedition board. Well, let's see. What have they got? That's a crazy looking raptor. Oh, I like the Springer. They got the cuckoos. I quite like the Spotted Plower Warclaw. Considering this expansion's all about the Warclaw. I quite like that, actually. I might pick him. The Netherwing, that looks cool. Never liked the geode set. Oh my god, that's a cool sky scale as well. Yeah, generic glowy. I don't know, this guy's really cool, and I like that sky scale. That guy's really cool. Oh my god, that's such a good sky. Look at that fucking sky scale. Oh, it might finally beat my Krakatorik one. I don't know what I'm going to pick. We get an outfit. The Wisteria Spear, I guess we can equip. And there you go. Lovely. Alright, let's swap back through now. You hate the supply things? Well, how so? In just that they cost a lot of gems? Okay. So there's an event near here now. This might be the one. Barbed Vale sent me chasing a reindeer. Okay, that's probably not it. Oh, here you go. This thing here with the wolf pup.
Here I am. Thought Barbed Vale was sending me on an easy hunt, just being a reindeer and all. Something's got this one all worked up. Need to tether it to your tourniquet like a salmon before you put it down.
one of these nifty funky boxes. I'll throw my voice in your ear as you go. Get him, Hunter. Be brave.
Honestly, I can't. Oh, sorry, you can't say you'd be excited to see me decorating the homestead, but it would be cool to see updates on the homestead and what decorating I've done. Yeah, I think that's the better way of doing it. The problem is we're at the arse end of the series now. I mean, I will get in there in the next couple of days, and I'll start something up, and we'll see what we look like. A bit like what I did with the guild halls, right? Basically, I can say that I'm not very excited about a lot of the big builds I've seen people posting. You know, there's something fun about using paintings as walls and stuff, don't get me wrong, but it just looks a bit hodgepodgey and weird, and like, I don't know, not really my vibe at the moment. So I don't think I'll be doing anything like that. Like, I won't build a cathedral or something. I'll probably just decorate, like, in a fairly low, uninspired, but ultimately pleasing way. That's probably what I'll do. Wait, C Squad chat, come to the map, we've got the event. Oh, but... Okay, I think this is the event anyway, though, right? So we're alright. I don't think I've ever done this one, by the way. It's the same format as one that was at the start of the X-Pack. It's just we're healing a wolf this time instead of a deer. It's interesting how we're going to get an owl out of this, right? You've been having so much fun with decorating, you did a really cozy, warm homestead with a pool. That's cool. How did you do a pool? With like a fountain, maybe, or something? Because you can't manipulate the terrain, can you? You can't lift it or raise or lower the terrain. It is cozy. It's very immersive. It's very ambient. It's very relaxing. I know that from my time doing guild hall decoration. I can't imagine that just because you're in a homestead, it's really that different in that way. Take out the beasts. We've got 2 minutes left still on this. I mean, we are pretty far away, actually. This might not be the event. Help Showering Dusk heal the wounded wolf pup. No, this is it. This is it. This is 100% it. It's just quite far away from where the owl is. I don't know why. You did a fence around a part of the river with a fountain as a sort of jacuzzi. Oh, I like that. That's very good. Yeah, I don't know where it went, but I had a comment from one of you guys where, you know, we were in the homestead at the end of the story and I had to water the plants. My instinct was to fill the bucket from the river. Apparently there's just a water pump there as well that you can use. And when they were watching, they were really amazed that both work. You can go to the river or use the water pump, you know. Keep decorating, you make me money from mats. Yeah, like, how's that working out as well with the economy at this point? Could be money to be made. It's funny, in FF now, I'm really into the idea of, like, getting money off of my retainers and stuff. And I do mining. I, like, mine for cobalt and stuff. But in Guild Wars, I don't know what it is. In Guild Wars, I'm not interested in money making. Where did you even get you were going to talk to an owl? Oh, you're right. You're right. It's a howl. Oh, I'm so embarrassed. I read the word howl. And I thought it said hoot. Look, they're both 4 letters, alright, and they start with a H, and they've got an O in it. It's totally forgivable. Anyone would make that mistake. Anyone. Oh, yeah. No, you're right. It's clearly going to be just a wolf. It had something else in there about flying or feathers, didn't it? No, maybe not. Howl is not equal to hoot, guys. What do you buy with money? Well, not much. Decorating, basically, is the main thing.
Such that bonds among creatures must be formed for survival.
But there are like mounts and things. There are like 3 prestige mounts that are worth 25 million gil each. So you'd need 75 million gil to get just those. And that's just an in-game sync. Okay, the event's over.
It's on the move!
It says... Oh, Oh god. Okay, what did it say? It said, help Sharing Dusk heal the wounded pup, then find Mrs. Knight the eyes and ears at the timber cave. It's so far away though. I mean, what? Well, let's go. Oh, your mistake was how to hoot rather than the word howl having the word owl in it. Do you know what? It's all a rich tapestry. I'm sure it all... Well, there's a champion. I don't want to fight him. Oh, look, a pup. Is it right round in here? Since we have a squad member in here. Aha! Mrs. Knight, the ears and eyes. Sorry, the eyes and ears. You were the one who helped my son, correct? I'm surprised. Your kind usually attacks us on sight. Yeah, he needed help. I'm in your debt. Should you have need of me, the pack can spare me for a bit. Have you heard of Miss Jeeves, the criminal mastermind? We do not concern ourselves with the politics of our prey, but since I owe you, tell me, what would she ask of me? She is getting a crew together for a heist. She needs your eyes and your ears. Very well, I understand little of heists, but my fangs long for the neck of something other than deer. The hunt is on. Hopefully it won't come to that. She's in town. Nice. Yeah, who is it that's gonna attack them if the distraction goes badly? This is such a great idea for a heist. They're just animals, you know. No one's gonna suspect them. The frog event's up. Oh my god, you guys, so good, so useful. Oh, I had an alert on screen, and it said a wolf pup has joined his family and is making his way southeast. Was it one of those like red text alerts or yellow text in the middle of my screen? Because I read on Wiki that that's about to happen with this frog thing, and I think that's amazing. I missed it there, unfortunately. But you've given us that details. Nice. Jesus, that sky scale. What the fuck? All right. So we grab a frog. We jump in the water. The frog oh, it's like a squad message. The frog slipped between your fingers, and you swear she gave you a salacious wink as she made her way downstream. Amazing. I kind of want to finish this event while we're here, because XP, masteries. I mean, this is so good as well. Look at this. It feels like there's quite a big quality difference between the first and the second map. What do you guys think about that? And in principle, I kind of agree with structuring the expansion that way. Obviously, in an ideal world, they'd both be the same quality. But, like, front-loading is pretty much the right idea. Like, with Larian games, people always criticize that, like, there's so much more interactivity and variance and, you know, things to read and do in the first act, and then the later ones there's almost nothing. But again, most players don't even get to the end of it, or when they do, they've lost that magic. So, and I sort of feel like Janthir Wilds is a little bit like that with its two maps so far. Oh, what do we do? Oh, okay. Here's what I do. I come here. Like, oh no. Oh, it wasn't actually. Oh, that sucks. Oh, well, we're done anyway. I contributed 1. What happens if I stay on this as it goes over the edge? Oh, they do fall. Oh, they're reusing the Super Adventure Box thing for it and everything. Oh, wow, that's so good. Couple more Ursus Obliges. Okay, so now we swim downstream, and the frog...
I'll tell the council you helped make it.
Is way down there. Something like that. Oh, the water looks good there. I like the colours. Oh, God. I had to throw the frog? No, I didn't. Oh, we could have just thrown it in the water. No, I think we're all right. WP, would you have liked to have seen a unique story instances in Janthir Wild, like we had the Auditorium Kraukatoric battle, or raiding Grata Primus in Season 4? Yeah, you're pointing out that they're absent in this expansion. By the way, we never got that mastery point up there. I'll grab it in a second. Oh god, what am I doing? I've already ran past the fucking thing. I mean, it would be nice. So much would be nice. It's never ending, right? Whatever gets the story as long as possible for me. As much dialogue, as much interactivity with the characters. Whatever's as long... I will take the hit on instance quality and stuff. As long as the story has at least got the room to tell what it's trying to tell. So you found me. I'm Mrs. Legs, the Temptress. So you found me, hun. And look at you. What can I do for the big, strong hero who saved Mrs. Legs from the pot? I was wondering if you'd like to help me with a caper. A caper? Sounds exciting. I'm intrigued. Sounds like the kind of thing that'd get my heart racing. Especially if you're a part of it. Ooh. Is this frog hitting on me? Have you heard of a cat called Mrs. Jeeves? Oh, your naivete is delicious. Who hasn't heard of the infamous Mrs. Jeeves, darling? Right, well, she needs someone to distract some guards. Yes, that sounds positively irresistible. Just like you, darling. You're in then. Good. She's in the village. Don't rush me, darling. Be patient. Trust me, I'm worth the wait. Wow. She's amazing. WP, what's hotter in this expansion? Mrs. Legs, the frog, or the bees? Oh, I don't know. It's a tricky one, isn't it? I'm going to try that bouncing mushroom before I try climbing all of this, because I feel like we're onto a winner with this. I feel like she's clearly the hottest. She was calling me darling. She told me she was worth the wait. She has long legs. What more could I ask for? Here we go. We've proven our mastery of the place. We're jumping on a single jumping mushroom. Oh, that was called Alessia's something. Alessia's secret. Like the Bog Queen, Alessia. There's a second reference to the name Alessia there. But what's the secret? Hold on. I don't want to go... Oh my god. I just wanted to get up a little bit. I should have just mounted. Mithril ore. There's nothing here. Interesting. The secret is power. Okay. Getting the crew together. 90% done for this step. Now lastly, Oh no, not lastly. We got 2. Needs a hard-working sort. Used to large groups and sticky situations. So we're going to get a jar from Blossoming Spring near the apiaries with the bees. We're going to fill it with honey, and we're going to find Mrs. Buzz, the worker bee, east of the apiary behind a tree. Okay. So hold on. What we want to do is... Oh, where the hell is this? Oh, we've got to go... we're going back into the bee room, I can tell you that for nothing. Alright, so first we go to the trees. With the bees and the main bee event. Speaking of bees... We get the jar from the... Basically, we're going to get the jar from the Jumping Puzzle-esque event. And hopefully it's not the mushroom event. I'm thinking it might be, though, guys, so prepare. Prepare for it to be the mushroom thing, and we're going to have to grind it. And I don't know whether they fixed it or if it was broken or what. Again, nice sharpening here. Working well with the rocks. That's the fungal... Oh, no, they're actually 2 separate places. The mushrooms are to the south. I actually could have tagged that. Because it's so close to being done. Right. So, we grab a jar. Oh, in fact, no, look, Buzzy's here. Is this who I want? I have a jar. Get a jar. Fill it with honey. And find Ms. Buzz, the worker bee, east behind a tree. Oh, there's something so nice and like just chill and relaxed and fun about. Okay, so we've got it with honey. Apparently that was completing it daily. Ow. Okay, now to the east behind a tree somewhere. Like I'm very close to it, I think. It's just a generic bee. Oh, here we go. Hello. Ms. Buzz, the worker bee. Bzz, yes, honey. Honey for the queen. Bzz, meet at the hive. Wait. Wait. Okay, now we go back to the salmon area. Let's fly on a griffin. I had an actual excuse to buzz there, guys. Gliding booster 3 can cheese the jumping puzzle. Yeah, I noticed with the booster I could I could like skip around different trees and things, yeah. Not enough space to mount. There we go. Alright, go down, we boost. And we're away. We don't really have to fly that far, but you know. Look at this. Woo! This is Guild Wars at its best, really, yeah. Okay. So then we go into the water. We get rid of this. Okay, now we're in the hive. We obviously couldn't take the honey with us into here. It would have been a hell of a trip, and then there would have been the water. Okay. Now, once we're in the hive... Buzz will be on the upper platform above where the chest is. So, right up. So, we basically got to do the whole thing, right? So that was where it ended. In fact, I don't even know if it got all the way up there. No. No, really? Okay, hold on. Let me try it this way. Very nervous about that. Huh. Hold on. Can I just walk on that gooey strand there? So many events. There's an elite bee there. Okay. Oh, look. I see him. He's up there. How do we get up there? I think we're going to have to go all the way around and then fly over. And just not fuck that jump up. There we go. 1, 2, 3. Okay, good. Now, I might be able to glide from here, actually. But there's a slight risk, and there's less risk if we just come over here, so... Okay. I love are these hive assets new, by the way? I don't remember ever, like, climbing around them. Look how much detail there is in each little thing. Alright, here we go. Ms. Buzz. Found me! Sorry, Bzz found me. Queen, happy, honeys, delivers, not so dummy after all. Zzz. Agreed, so I've got an offer for you. Obvious, work hard. Bzz. I had to do extra Zs there because they actually dictated those ones. He looks really good up on this, the fluffiness. Miss Jeeves wants your help. Would the Queen allow you to leave the hive? Bzz. Despite monarchical titles, the Queen allows ample autonomy. Bzz. You found me by the trees earlier, obviously. Supports rights to seek gainful employment elsewhere if emotional or societal needs not fulfilled in hive. Sorry, what? Will help. Zzz. Go where? Look for a cat in a village, Miss Jeeves. Alright. So the last animal friend is an aerial fighter who's not afraid of a little blood. Okay, so we have to do that event with the poisoning the Vale Raven nests again. And we're going to end up really close to here again, actually, funnily enough. We're going to end up there. I don't know what it is. Is it a raven? Or something? Alright, let's get out of here. Let's get away from the zizzing. Can you make that your usual voice? Wait, which one? Which of my myriad comical characters, kooky characters, should be my regular voice? Okay, I've already gone the wrong way. Oh my god, I think the event's up. That might be the event we want. But what the fuck? Oh god. We want to be here, ultimately. But... oh, maybe not. Oh god. No, it is here. This is where we want to be. There's going to be someone here. But the event we need to do first is possibly here. The Vale Raven's dying and I'm not going to be able to tag it. And I also didn't really see, I couldn't see where it was. It was really weird. The telegraphing was just confusing the fuck out of me. But here was where I did the escort before. You want the expansion to be more heists and salmon runs. You don't care about his Garen. Oh, I want to get a badger in the team. Collect frogs. Code and stout heart.
There it goes. That's too bad. But there'll be other brews.
Not reading chat. The event is currently running in my instance. Ah, Timbals, thank you. I am.
Far from it.
I am. Joining Lowland Shore. Oh my god, amazing. Thank you, dude. The escort one, right? Oh, you're right, it is. It's here, isn't that it? Yeah, oh my god, dude. So useful. Thank you very, 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 very much. Wow. WP, not sure if you heard of it, but south of the Harvest Plot's points of interest, near the Mastery Point, there is a group of Coden near a fire that tell the story of Waiting Sorrow as the voice leaving. I think you've messaged me that before, right? I haven't seen that. I'd like to... I'll try to add that to the list of things for us definitely to cover as we wind the Let's Play down.
It seems our kind is capable of undoing some.
You hear that, Wayfinder? Making progress.
Here we go.
Avenge you I will.
Oh, this is the really good voice acting.
Hush, dear. Make it right.
See? I told you guys about this. It's interesting to me. So there's some theories that maybe the Vale Raven are like harpy related or something. They mostly make me think of the Flesh Reavers. It's all the same generic winged model really at the end of the day, isn't it? Oh, that was quite nice. I'll do that one. It's cool that the net gives me a carnivore proc. Damn, we don't get the full nature's blessing though, because we're missing the 5. And now it's lined up a bit awkward. Alright, that's okay. Jesus, he's tanky as all hell. Missed. Alright, there we go.
My very kin, I'm indebted to your self-sacrifice. You are thanked on all our behalf.
God, our inventories are really exploding here, aren't they?
Hear that, dear? Mama and this kind stranger have made everything right again.
There you go. So she runs away.
It's all right.
And that was a really, really good event, I thought. So maybe we can just bouncing mushrooms straight up. That's cool. Look, we're going past the jumping puzzle area that we're at. And there you go, look. Oh, thank you for that map pop. That was awesome. So finally, we have Ms. Blood, the assassin. Hello. You took down the knight, did you? Impressive. I don't blame you for attacking us. We make enemies of all. But your syrupy blood, oh, it sings to me. There's something different. A spice to it? Hold on. Is this a Vale Raven? I guess it is, right? Good to know. Say, would you be interested in a job? A job? How curious. Perhaps we can make a deal, One small taste of that nectar-smelling blood of yours, and I will offer my assistance. Just a bit, mind you. Do not worry. Oh my god. Only a tiny bit. I will put you down if you try anything. Please, do you take me for a fool? I've seen your talent in spilling precious blood. I do not seek to incur your wrath. I only ask for a small sample to sate my appetite. It smells quite rich. Fine. Then meet Miss Jeeves in the village and leave the Coden alone. Fear not. I've grown tired of their taste. I long for fresh experiences. New, bold flavours, viscous on the palate, heady on the finish. Alright, I'm starting to regret this. Yeah, already. So what happens now? We go and we get more instructions? They're going to do stuff? Go back to the house, I guess. They're all like fancy, cute kind of animals. I guess a wolf isn't. And that one felt like kind of a big difference. Hello. I like how there's a quest in this house. I feel like every house should have a quest. I was just wishing you'd wander this way. Wait, how did we voice Miss Jeeves? I was just wishing you'd wander this way. Wonderful work. Next, I need you to wrangle my right-hand recruiter, Mr. Ribbington. Mr. Ribbington. In the rare case that my feline charms fall short, I call on Mr. Ribbington. He's quite persuasive. He was mentioned in this, the plan on the right. Presently, he's probing the islands for promising recruits. Send him a paw, will you, kitten? Okay, do you know where the islands I can find him? Not precisely, but he knows I'm sending you his way, and I'd expect him near one of the camps. Look for the hat. It's positively striking. On my way, then. Okay, so is the next thing hunting Mr. Ribbington down across Janthir Sintry? Okay, it looks like all these other steps, except one, don't need events, so they're easy enough to do, it looks. So that's good. So we need to find him at the forager's hut. He's the muscle. There we go. Oh, God. Yeah, forager's hunt. Did I just say hut? You hope we get a follow-up and maybe see them in South Sun? Yes, me too. Let's see here. Here he is. Oh my god, what a hat. That's awesome. Wow, look at him down there. Mr. Ribbington stares at you dully, clearly unimpressed. Mr. Ribbington, can you understand me? He continues eyeing you from head to toe, apparently sizing you up. Miss Jeeves sent me to help you. I was told you were aware. So we're going to have multiple frogs with us, and Zizel started the whole thing. Another tadpole, eh? Fine, fine. Well, listen, Tenderfoot. These are the missing crew members we need. Make it snappy, will you? Time's wasting. Tenderfoot. You heard me. Get a move on, rookie. Do I got to spell it out for you? This better be worth it, Zizel. We're just doing all of this on a whim. Okay, so we get 3 things. He needs a group of animals that can get into small spaces. He needs someone with a couple of pincers to blend in with a cast. And he needs someone who is a strong swimmer, preferably large with a nasty bite. Okay. Yeah, you could not... I mean, doing this all on your own would take forever. It would be incredibly difficult. Kudos to anyone who managed to do that. Like, goddamn. Okay, so we are going to the old Gavril Plaza over here. No? Yeah. Yeah. We're going to the old Gavril Plaza. So we got to complete the adventure to save the woodland critters. And then we can find Mr. Hop. We can find a bunch of them. Basically, we're saving them all at once. They all have amazing names. It's like here or something, near the adventure. But what I'm curious about is, because I already did... Wow, that looked really good for a second there. The environment looked amazing, with the waypoint out, and the ruin on the top right, and the colours, and the water. The visuals are growing on me, actually. Look at this. Okay, so I think we just have to redo the adventure. Just like, well, we didn't have to do the other one. I think we should, though. Okay, let's do this. This will help us a bit with the heart as well, right? Here we go. So we sniff. And we uncover. Nice. And over here we sniff. And we uncover. I swear I was standing on one a second ago, but no. And yeah, I'm skill clicking this because my keybinds are very weird on the Warclaw too. Not quite sure why. Oh, here it was. Recruit the Leviathan? Yeah, I mean, we're going to have to do that event. But it's like one of the last steps, so hopefully it's up. I don't know what kind of a cooldown the Leviathan's on. Nice diggy, diggy, diggy. We got this one here. So I've done 5 of 8. It's 12 for gold, right? How big is the area of the adventure? It's like huge. I have 3 minutes. To be honest, it just says complete, right? Oh, I think I should probably let it time out. I don't know whether, like, cancelling it early counts as completing it. I don't think it does. Like, if I was in a race, it wouldn't be counted as completed. So I guess we're just waiting 3 minutes here. It's just a 3-minute time gate, and in the meantime, get as many as you can. It might give you the gold reward, and therefore, you know, a little bit of XP and loot. And a bit of heart progress. But unless I actually get as far as finishing this heart today, it's just going to reset in a few hours with reset anyway, right? So. Unbinding mount skills help. Yeah, I did look into this problem like maybe 2-3 years ago, and it was something like that. It's like two of the binds are overlapped, but also there's a weird checkbox somewhere. And I think that's a thing. Yeah, I don't know. You could finish it in like 30 seconds. What, this whole adventure you can do in 30 seconds? It'd be cool if they had more sub-stories between big patches. Yeah, and in fact, I think, you know, that was one of the things, as terrible as all the Dragonstorm stuff was with the Icebreed Saga. That was one of the things, actually, that I thought the Icebreed Saga did really well around Dragonstorm. The conversations with Bangar in the jail with Jormag and all that, that stuff was brilliant. I really enjoyed a lot of that. Oh, one more for gold. Come on, one more. I'm scanning and getting nothing. No pings. There's an enemy ping. There's none here. Oh my god, this is crazy. Maybe up north? Three enemies up there. Hold on, there's a chest icon there, but is that just a regular cache? I think that's not a part of the adventure, is it? This is just a cache. Maybe? Yeah, that's a cache. I think that's the first one I've ever dug up, by the way. Oh, why can't I find the last one? Southeast of the circle, you missed the ping. Okay, so southeast, so I'm near it right now. Ah, you're right, there it is. I see it, it's way off in the corner. There it is. Nice. And with 30 seconds to spare. Beauty. Some of the animals are gathered in the ruins, it said. In the top in the middle. Easily missed because I was sorting through loot. Aha! Hello, everybody. Mr. Shadow, the Drama King. Oh, but we're speaking apparently to Mr. Hop, the Speedster. Yeah, can you just kill that, please, pet? I'll give you quickness. Thank you for helping us, stranger. No problem. Yes, thank you. Would any of you like a job? And this guy is Miss Stripes, the Masked Bandit. A job? Where? There's a cat in the lowlands. She needs help with a heist. Oh, a heist. Sounds fun. It's from Mr. Shadow. Find her in the Coden village. Her name is Ms. Jeeves. Okay, so that's that. Now, Mr. Ribbington needs someone with a couple of pincers to blend. This is going to be a whole forest of animals on this heist. Someone with a couple of pincers to blend in with a cast. So this is Mr. Claus, the brains. It is another event. It's, by the way, I want to be clear. I have no problem with them doing events with this stuff. These achievements are cool and they're fun and they can leverage the content. It's not a problem. I just mean in terms of making a Let's Play and trying to be snappy about it. That's why I'm sort of like, oh, an event. But in general, I've got no problem with it. So, we need to give her debris found on the shore that we collect during the collect and turn in debris from the shore and enemies event. So, we're hoping for an event to be up on this map. I'm looking in chat here. Debris event is up right now. Oh, but was that somewhere else? Somewhere else? Here, so look, this person I think is going to say, foolish bears, I've been studying the debris. Something isn't adding up, but they keep attacking us. I've been doing research on the bones, but I can't get a decent sample with the fighting. Need some help sneaking one out? A helpful biped? That's rare. Thought you were all just brutes. Fine, fine. Bring me a decent sample and we can talk. I'll be back. So hold on, wait. Are we saying in this map? No. Okay, defeat waves of oncoming enemies. That's not quite the thing I'm looking for, is it? But I guess we'll do it in the meantime while we wait for an event to come up. I need to point out earlier, the fish Sully the Sly referenced taking a pirate's name. You mentioned Tyder. You might have meant Saida the Sly. Oh, I see. I was thinking of Tyler Covington, but yes, Saida. Salty the Sly, Saida the Sly, yeah. You're surprised there isn't more in-between stuff, like the Goric stuff in Yala was something at least? Oh, you're right. Yeah, there was that little thing, wasn't there? With the Goric's conversation kept updating between the Yala patches. See, I really like that stuff. I remember when that was going on, I felt this weird thing where, I kind of would love to have been able... was it one patch per week? It would have been cool to have had, a weekly lore video, where it's like, oh, here's the next bit of the story, let's chat. But they're not quite enough for that, Even when it was Bangar talking to Jormag, it wasn't quite there. I also think often when they've been doing that, it's been periods where I've been a bit dismayed or not too connected with the story. So I don't know. But yeah, imagine if every week from now there was some small expansion to the story between the two patches. It's it's another thing that falls under the category of this would be nice, So much would be nice. What can they do? Oh, okay, you can just cancel out the adventure. The animal pals will spawn. Alright, yeah, I didn't want to take the risk. I assume you've got to get at least a bronze. So they're happy that it's plaguing the shores no longer. Yeah, I don't know. Do we just... Oh, I mean, we could skip to the next bit, I guess. The next bit is Mr. Ribbington needs someone who is a strong swimmer, preferably large with a nasty bite. So, but that's the Leviathan event. So we want the Leviathan, and we want this event, and then we're done, by the way, at that point, guys. Does anybody know how regularly the Leviathan spawns? And do we have another map? No. or if it has a pre-event that I can trigger, or, you know. There's actually quite a lot of water out here. The debris event is the pre for the Leviathan. Oh, so they chain into one another. Okay. That's really good to know. Thank you. But that means it could take a while, right? The Leviathan's not up all the time. I've just asked in map chat if anyone's seen the Leviathan recently. I guess I'll just canvas the area and like try and cast a wide net. We can get the charged Titan ore as well. What's this? What I stated is valid. I know heart progress is nice and all. Unless my message is blocked for some reason and I'm speaking to the ether. No, everyone sees your message. The only way that you'll get blocked is like if you get auto-filtered. Like I think certain terminology will auto-filter you, putting links, putting messages that are too big. Basically, don't do something that looks like a bot. But it is very overzealous. Find Levy Farm on an LFG. Timbal says, I have a squad that is waiting for the debris event and the Leviathan. Okay, I'm going to leave my squad and join theirs. Because at least these will be players. Squad join Timbals. Here we go. These are at least players. Oh, it's full. I'm queuing. These are players at least expecting the Leviathan at some point. And yeah, if this map doesn't fill, what I'll do is I'll look on LFG and see if I can get in another one. Oh, well, there you go. Yeah, so it's funny. So people are Leviathan farming up here. The cooldown must be low enough that it is farm. Oh, there you go. Oh, but that means we missed the debris. Or did we? Should we go speak to the crab again? Just in case. Oh my god, it's dying fast. No, hold on. Holy fuck, it's dying fast. What? Oh my god. Get a tag of some kind. Oh, that was gold. One of the sharks swim off. It might be worth pursuing it. Holy fuck. Wow. Okay, so is that just destroying the price of ambergris? I can see why people are farming it. That was obscene. I can't believe we managed to get that. I really can't believe it. Not that it helps much though, because I'm gonna need to wait the full duration for the debris again, aren't I? Right, so a shark swam off, and then there's a shark NPC that I can meet here at this rock. How long till they fix the Leviathan HP scaling? Yeah, I mean it's clearly bugged. Alright, but here, look, a shark. Mr.Razor, the Loudmouth. You have demonstrated great strength. I will follow your lead this time, as tradition dictates, though my teeth ache with the urge to rip out your throat and gorge upon your warm corpse. Well, I do need a strong swimmer. Your word shall be as law to me, until such a time as I prove my superiority by defeating you in combat. That's fine, but I need you to listen to Miss Jeeves for this. I will obey whomever you command. Until such a time, I deem you too weak to lead and to challenge your authority in battle. Okay, find her in the bear village and maybe stay outside. How's he going to get out those rivers? Why? Do these bears seek to test my strength? I will do as you say, but if I am confronted and asked to engage in ritual combat, I will not hesitate to accept. Okay. We're getting a lot more dodgy people in this group the more it's gone on. Yeah, so the crab won't join me, it seems. Oh, wait, they've map hopped. Ah, I understand what's happening. They're map hopping to find new debris. I get you. So they might be doing debris right now. So let's see. Oh, and it's up again. What the hell? That's another ambergris. So someone is prepping a map right now, basically. Right? That's going to be the case. That somebody is fishing out debris. Clear out of enemies. Oh, do you know what? It's really hard, though, because... 1, I'm in combat. 2, I no longer know whose instance is whose. Any map with debris? Okay, well, that was a thing, and it's left a bunch of vulnerability on me, and I'm still... Okay. Let's see. Well, there's no debris map here. Leviathan's up here. Oh, are they waiting for people to get there? I'm not sure exactly what the etiquette here is. I think people are waiting before they hit the Leviathan. You have to say this is the funniest achievement of this expansion. Yeah, it's pretty good, right? It's pretty good. I'll tell you what... Oh, debris on me, this guy says. Do you know what? I was literally about to say I'll do this off screen. Literally, as I was speaking. So that timing was quite fortuitous. There we go. So I can clean up the debris. I think we just need to beat the event, and we'll probably get a message that the crab is happy. So what was wrong with the Leviathan over on that map that we were on? Why weren't we killing it? Why is everyone just loaded away? Here we go, 30 seconds. Lovely. Hello, Mr. No. Welcome, welcome. I kind of feel bad at moments like this because now, look, guys, if there was lots of messages in chat earlier, and I missed it because we were ranting away and chatting, obviously, at these points of the streams, I'm pretty much guaranteed to see what you type now. It's always so front-loaded, you know. You need to bring a debris to the crab. Oh. 2, 1. Oh. I'm picking it up. But I don't have it. Oh, are you fucking serious? Oh, I assumed... I completed the event without dropping any debris. I assumed you would beat it and then he'd be happy. Oh, that other Leviathan bugged, I guess. I needed to bring it to him. Oh. Oh. Oh, you guys tried to help. It was too late. It was too late. I was staring at chat, then I looked away to explain that people's messages would get through. When I looked back, there were 3 messages saying... Alright, well, this one didn't bug. Jesus Christ, 16k? This is insane. This farm is nuts. You guys should get in on this action. What the fuck? That's 4 gold I just got. So now what? So now we can just swap to another and look for another debris map? Yeah, I know the crab said he wanted to see some, but you never really know how exactly it's going to line up, do you? I'm also, for free, finishing this heart, it seems, here. Alright, guys, I'm going to leave it here, alright? So I will see you on the next part. Basically, what's going to happen is between these 2 episodes... I'm going to grab the debris, give it to the crab, and he'll say, okay, I'll join the team. And then at the very start of the next episode, we just go back to the cat, and that's the end of it. So we've basically done the whole collection, the whole thing here. But join me next time on the next episode for the very end of that, and we'll do Star-Crossed Lovers in the next part, also maybe checking the Wisps. So we have Star-Crossed Lovers, we have the Wisps, which I assume is just following Wisps around in the first map and doesn't really have too much. And then last of all, there's Build a Quaggan, which looks like it might be a bit of a resource sink thing. And that's it. That's the whole expansion really done. We did the Lonely Tower today. We did another Seekers of the Obscure thing today. I will look into the Forgotten Lore thing. And if it is just like lots of temple cleansing and stuff, what I'll do is I'll just film it off screen and we'll play a montage and we'll watch that there. So I reckon next episode we might be finished with everything, or it might be 2 more parts. But yeah, so there you go. That's the vast majority of getting the crew back together. Collect the crab, and then it's just walk to some spots. So thank you, everybody. Hope you enjoyed. Thanks for the chat. Let me know what you think about any of the stuff, obviously, from earlier. And I'll see you for more Janthir Wilds on the very next one. Tomorrow will be FF6. And right near the end of the game, actually. I think I'm starting the final dungeon in FF6 in that part. So, yeah. Thanks, everybody. Hope you enjoy. Have a lovely evening. It's been great to have some company. And I'll see you next time. Take care. I'll level my mastery. Yeah, here you go. We now have Explorer proficiency. We have learned how to use the Bloodstone-empowered beehives. Excellent. I'm nearly done with this homesteading thing as well. I'm sure next part I will have snagged some of these. Thank you, everybody. Take care. I'll see you soon.